and then we can start talking because I'm very excited. All the things that we have to talk about today are very, very exciting, and I'm just ready to share it all. How's it going over here on Twitch? Twitch is still saying it's unstable. Average bitrate is too high. Why are you too high right now? That's not fun. Oh, there we go. Okay. I just refreshed everything, and it's saying that we should be all good. And the YouTube's back up, it looks like. Are we? Are we back up? It's... Okay, yeah, no, there we go. Awesome. So yeah, we have a couple of stuff today to talk about. And I want to talk about, like, some of, like, the less important stuff first, just because I feel like I get more eloquent as we actually, like, you know, go on and stuff like that. So, like, the first stuff that I want to talk about today is generally, like, the schedule for, like, the future of, like, my live streams and everything. I've talked about it, like, a few times before, but, like, starting a new series, I'm like, I feel like it's good to talk about, especially since, like, I haven't actually, like, gotten to it yet. So I just wanted to talk about, like with stuff like visual novels, like balancing like that as opposed to like playing like other games, because, like, you know, there are some people here who are only here for like the visual novel side of things, you know, or there are some people who are only here for like to see me like play games and stuff like that. So I want to make sure like everyone's aware of this. Like, I'll probably talk about it here, and then maybe one more time when we get into like the Headwell Lost again, just like make sure like everyone's kind of like caught up to speed on everything, you know what I mean? So we got like that to do, and then what was it? And then I wanted to do one more, like, talk about it again when we get into like back into like playing games like Spider-Man or Genshin Impact or anything like that, because that was a big part of like where people came to watch, was like to watch me play Genshin. So I'm like, I want to make sure like those people are all aware of everything. Like, I don't want to like just leave anyone in the dark, basically, you know what I mean? So that is the plan. Basically, the future is that I'm always want to keep like visual novels as like a part of what I'm doing, just because like I love reading visual novels, like to like maybe an unhealthy degree. Like, I was with some friends doing like some Baldur Gate stuff last night. I was just kind of watching them play because my internet was like being really bad. I was trying to stream yesterday, but my internet was so bad, it was just not gonna work out. So instead, I was just watching them like play some Baldur's Gate. Like, they were doing like a campaign together that I'm gonna be starting soon, and like they picked up like a note, and like they just started reading the note in silence. And as soon as like the text just popped up on my screen, I just started reading it out loud, and I had to stop myself being like, this isn't like that. This isn't like that. And it's like, to the point, like, I'll be watching anyone play a game and like text will pop up, and my first thought is like to start reading it aloud. I'm like, these people, they don't need me to read to them, you know what I mean? You know, like reading these things. So I always wanted to be a part of what I'm doing here. And again, there are a lot of people who come here specifically for that. So I was thinking that once a week, I was thinking Wednesday nights, like tonight, that's when we'll just do like a little story time, you know? Like, we'll do like a little story corner, reading like some visual novels, whether it be like without a voice. I almost said Without Bloom. I don't know where that came from. Whether it be without a voice or anything like that. Just because I always want it to be like up on the channel. But I was thinking that for the sake of my hands, so I don't end up overextending them again, the plan is to play a game, then read a visual novel, then play a game, then read a visual novel, while there's always something going. Exactly, Women Wednesdays, exactly. Because I'm like, it's just like a good time. Like, who doesn't enjoy just like a good story to spend their night with? You know what I mean? It's like, that's always going to be planned to have it go then, but then just we'll just alternate between games and visual novels, because, like, for those who don't know, I've talked about it just 18 billion times, but over like the past like couple months, I've been dealing with the worst case of tendonitis and carpal tunnel that my orthopedics and physicians and therapists have ever seen. And so I think like taking a break to play like a visual novel outside of our Women Wednesdays is like a good chance to give like my hands like a break, so I can like also do stuff like write or draw or just like play games with my friends without having to worry about like, oh, if I stream this week, am I gonna like ruin my hands again? Because I don't want that. I don't want that at all. Just because it has been like a little bit of a hard time, and again, it also makes it so I can't really like stream and do stuff like that. So I think like giving my hands a break to, you know, keep doing more visual novel stuff that I love doing, is like a good way to balance it out. So yeah, that's like the general plan going forward. But now onto the more exciting news, the stuff that I'm like really excited about. So For those who don't know, I'm assuming that if you're here to like watch without a voice, you're like generally aware of like Studio Lawn and like the whole like team behind that stuff. Well, they just recently announced their Stream Ambassador program, which they were so like I'm like so honored to that they reached out to me to be a part of it, because I'm like, oh, I've only read 2 other things, admittedly, but like because I got into it, like a little bit later than most people, but I love it. Like, Please Be Happy, one of my favorite stories of all time. First Snow, just finished that like last week. Absolutely love it. So the fact that like they reached out and asked me to be a part of like their first generation of stream ambassadors, I was like, oh, this is like the biggest honor of my entire life. And I was so like excited about it that like when I first received like the email about it, I like instantly like went out, I was like to Josh, the person who like reached out to all of us, and I like immediately started messaging back like, oh my gosh, yes, oh thank you. And then I thought to myself like, I should probably conduct myself slightly more professionally, just a little bit, you know, just slightly. Because I don't know how most people would take to that. Like, granted, I've learned like through like talking and like being a part of like our like little group now, like, you know, where it's a very like chill, relaxed group. You don't need to be professional all the time. But in my worried little anxious brain, I was so scared of like coming off as like not professional that I was like, no, I can't just let him know that I'm super excited about this. That'd be silly. I gotta be a professional about this. But like, I was like all over the place, like just with excitement that whole day, and it's like, okay, so I feel like I'm losing it a little bit. I'm losing the sauce a little bit. I need to explain a little bit more. Basically, the Stream Ambassador program, it's like a way for Studio Lawn. Also, I realized that like I've been just pronouncing Studio Lawn wrong basically since I like started reading their stuff. Like I've always pronounced it like Studio Lane, even though like they put up like a video about the Stream Ambassadors and they pronounced it a lot in there. And I was like, my brain didn't have like any like problem with it. It was like, oh, I've heard it pronounced that way by literally everyone but me. Maybe I should have cued into that's how it's pronounced. But no, I just kept pronouncing it Studio Lane. It's okay, none of us pronounce it. You know, that does make me feel quite a bit better to know that no one pronounces it right. Listen, it's like the same thing with like any kind of names like that. Like when I was like thinking about like how I was gonna like handle today, I want to talk about like, you know, the other like people who are a part of this, like Leary and Mary, and I was like, I've been watching them for a while, and I have 0% confidence on how to actually pronounce their names, but I've heard it like a million times. So you know what? As long as I'm not the only person struggling with pronunciations, that makes me feel a lot better about it. Where was I? Okay, so yeah, no, it's just like basically a thing. Like, okay, listen, I feel so over the place today that I actually like took notes and like, oh, what do I need to talk about today? Because like I started like thinking about it, I was like, oh, there's a lot of stuff. I don't want to miss anything. So yeah, it's basically just like a program that Studio Lawn set up to sort of like support like not only like the creators who like make stuff around their games, but also just support like the community as well, and like be like involved in the community and like build it up, which I think is just like the coolest thing. Because that's one of the things that like drew me even more into like being a fan of like Studio Lawn and like everyone who works there is like they're all very like connected with the community is the best way to put it. Like they're all like they're, you know, like looking around, interacting, watching people who make stuff about their games. Like I think that's so cool, because like a lot of companies will just be like, oh yeah, here's our game, you'll hear back from us when we have another game, and like, you know, that's like there's nothing wrong with that. I just think it's cool that they're like willing to like get down, like connect with people, you know what I mean? It's like a really just cool thing that they do. That's basically what the Stream Ambassador program is all about, is like, you know, like they're going to be like sharing like clips and stuff from us, they're going to be like helping like promote us, and like, you know, we'll be promoting back, because like, let's be honest, if you've been over on my Twitter, we were all kind of doing that anyways, so it's just kind of like more official now, which is like super cool. And it's like super cool for like from like our perspectives, because it's like people that like we respect, because like not only as like a huge fan of like the stuff that they make, but also as someone who just like also wants to be like a writer and like an artist. Like I respect these people so much. It's sort of like meeting your heroes type of thing. And then so when they reached out to be like, hey, want to like do some work with us, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, please, and thank you. That's the coolest thing ever. Because like I love what you guys do. I'm so happy that you're like letting me like be like officially kind of like sort of part of like what you guys do in a way, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, so it's me. I want to pull up the list so I make sure I'm like right about it. All of us ambassadors. Oh, also in the Discord, we are called the Bellflowers, which is just the cutest thing. Because for those who don't know, like a branch of Studio Lawn is called the Bell House. That's where like they like publish like other like visual novels through, and it's also like what they call like the coffee shop in Please Be Happy, and it's like it's the cutest name. We even have like a little flower logo, and it's adorable. So we are the Bellflowers of like the stream ambassadors, and it's so cute. Where is the list? So it's me. I'm gonna mispronounce these names horribly. Ratsukare, Lyri, Mary Aurelia, and Nui. I probably mispronounced those names horribly. And like another part that's at least exciting for like me about all this is that like I'm like been like aware of like Lyri and Mary. Like I've watched them like through or for how long? Probably since about the time I started like getting into Please Be Happy, because that is how I found them by like looking up stuff about them basically. So like for me, it's like, oh, okay, so not only do I get to like work with like Studio Lawn, but I'm also like, you know, being a part of this with like these two streamers who like I really like enjoy like their content. They make a lot of great stuff, but also the other two, like I haven't heard of them before, so now I just get to like go in and I gotta find new people who also make like great content. Because like throughout today, like while I've been working, I've been like looking at some of like their clips of trying to like, you know, learn more about like the people who are doing this with me. And like they already seem so cool, so I'm so excited to be like working with everyone, being part of like the Bellflowers. It's so exciting. And then okay, so like the last little part again, I needed like a list of this because there's like a decent bit to talk about with it all, and like it's just like so exciting. Like my brain is like jumbled up about it. Like in the Discord earlier we were talking about like, oh yeah, the excitement still hasn't worn off, and I've been like feeling it like all day to like, oh, I get to stream today and actually talk about it. I'm honestly kind of glad I didn't get to talk about it last night, because I would have been so much more incoherent than ever. But there's also this is one of the things I was getting ready before stream started. Let me just go ahead and go like this. Yeah, we're looking forward to having some free Yeah, I realized that like you guys are probably so busy right now being at Offkai, and for like those who don't know, that's like a big old convention thing that's going on, and like you guys are like putting out like a lot of stuff there and a lot of merch and everything. And so like doing this along with like setting up like all of us and like getting this whole like stream ambassador thing set up, like kudos to you guys for just like being able to do that. Like that is so impressive. We got this, and I want to make sure I actually get the correct link. There we go. Bam. Hang on. Let me go like that. And let's see if it... Oh, yeah, it actually works. I was really worried about, like, posting links in here just because I was scared. I'm also going to pin this really quick. There we go. Customize time. Oh, I've never pinned a message before. Let's just have it, like, manually. There we go. Manually unpin. Awesome. And I'm also just going to get this set up in the YouTube chat really quick. Hang on. Boop. Basically what this is it's a code to get 10% off on the Studio Lawn merchandise store, which honestly is an incredible deal, just because not as someone who's just okay, I was gonna say I don't want to shill too hard for them, but like I do, because like okay, I have it pulled up and everything because this is one of the things I was also getting ready before stream. Hang on, I need to add a source. Bump. I should have had this ready before, but that's fine. Let me go ahead and put this in, because I want to shill really hard right now because I love the merch here, and I just want to talk about it more. I promise I won't do this too much in other streams, but I really want to do it right now. Hang on, is it working? There's something wrong. Wait, what? Hang on, so that isn't... You know, I have an idea. Let's just go ahead and click out of there, and then let's just go ahead and go to window. Bump. Yeah, there we go. This works out just fine. Okay, I'm gonna put it under me just so then I can still be seen. Bump. There we go. Okay, here is some of the amazing merch that you can find on here. Again, I'm not going to shill for too long. Just a little bit of time, okay? Just a little bit of time. You can see me, like, going... Oh, I didn't realize you could see me going around in here. I was just, like, checking on stuff to make sure everything's working fine. But you can see how my brain works. I have all these tabs open, and like most of them are just Twitter or Twitch. You know, it's fine. It's fine. It's this one. Yep, there we go. So, like, okay, one of the reasons like this is so cool is Studio Lane merch, Alon merch, is like some of the highest quality stuff out there. Like, it's like some of my favorite merch by like a mile. Like, I'm just looking up at like the acrylics I have like up on my desk right now, and like they're just so good. Like, I got like a Yang from Ruby acrylic like how long ago? Oh gosh, like a year or something, maybe over a year. And like that's where I like first like fell in love with acrylics. But then I got these ones from Studio Lawn, and like they are such high quality. Like they're like feel so firm. Like while I was taking the pictures, I was worried about like dropping them and like scratching them, but like they're so durable. I don't know if that would happen. Like I'm not saying go out there and start like hucking them about. You know, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. But like the art on them so high quality, like the coloring so high quality, like and just like the feel of them, like they just feel high quality. There's nothing like cheap about them, and they're just like such a great price too already. Like one of the things I have like an issue with like other like merchandise with like other like companies in general is that like merch just tends to cost so much. But like here's it feels like you're paying like you're not paying like an arm and a leg for like to get stuff out of like the merch store. You know, here's like all the keychains, which I love, especially like over time. This Miho one right here has oh, you can see my mouse. I usually have that turned off. I'm so glad I remember to turn that on. I was just worried, like, did I remember? I did. But this Miho one right here is like absolutely my favorite. It is just adorable, and the coloring on it is so good, and it just feels so like festive. I think it was like for like a fall festival that they like made and released this, which fits so well because fall is just like objectively the best time, and I won't hear anything else about it. And then like you have all these ones up here of like the terrariums for like all the girls, and then you have like the Miho and Juliet one and the Miho and Aspen one, which I just love. Now I don't use these three as like keychains too often, just because like they're a little bit on the bigger side. But, like even then, they're still like such like fun little pieces of merch to have. But I do switch between like these three, like which one I'm actually using like every couple of weeks, just because like they're so nice. And like other people, listen, other people agree with me. I've gotten so many compliments on these keychains from other people, like none other. Like people love them. And then you have these. This is the only time I wish that I had like an iPhone to take pictures with, just because these are not turning out how I wanted them. I thought it would be the coolest idea because like these are kind of like, you know, set in like sunset and like the arts and everything. So I was like, oh, I really want to set it up. So then like these were like, you know, like it looks like it's during like the sunset. Obviously, like I didn't get the time to be quite right for that, but that's fine. But like in real life, it like looks so much better than this, and it's just like my stupid little stinky Android camera that was just not taking the best pictures. So, but like, you know what? I did my best, and you know what? I still feel like even with my poor photography skills, they turned out great. And then we took another picture, just like to have something a little bit more clear, but like, you can like tell just by looking at them, like, again, like the coloring and the art on them is such good quality, and like the material itself is so good. Like, again, it's like probably some of the favorite merch I've ever bought. Like, I'm looking up at my shelf right now, and I almost call that, like, I really like my, like, Miho plush. Like, that's a really good piece of merch. But then I was like, that really just kind of goes along with what I was saying of, like, them having, like, the best merch out there. So, like, I don't know. It just kind of sticks, you know? But, yeah. Did I have anything else that I wanted to talk about in terms of the stream ambassador stuff? Outside of just reiterating that, hey, yeah, I'm excited, you know, like, over and over again, which I could do. Probably not the best idea. It probably doesn't make for the best content. But yeah, no, I'm just really excited. Again, super honored to be a part of this. It's like so hard to like contain it right now. And I'm just really excited to start like working with everyone and like getting to do stuff, you know, like what, you know what I mean? But I think with that being said, we can jump on into the game, you know, just like a casual almost half hour in, but that's fine. But yeah, no, we are coming over. Is the game working? It's not working. That's fine. It shouldn't. Wait, hang on. Game with less confidence. Is that the right? Nope, that is definitely... that is, without a doubt, the wrong thing. Hang on, let me get this, like, set up better. I thought I had this on lock. I should be able to just change this into it. Yes, I can. Okay. Where is without a voice? There we go. There we go. Cool. Okay. let me just move this over so then I can get a better look at the game, and then we can get started, which I am so excited for this. Like, I don't know too much about... Okay, also, I'm seeing something that's, like, bugging me that I wanted to address. There's a lot of things that I want to, like, change to, like, make my streams better. And if you guys can see up there at the top, the chat box is without a doubt one of them. Like, I want to get better, like, I want to get a better music compilation to have as, like, background tracks while, like, during, like, just chatting parts, you know what I mean? Just because I only have, like, a couple songs in there. I have more songs that I can add to it that I just haven't gone around to doing. So that's, like, number one priority, just because it's so simple. It's just so easy. I just put a bunch of things together, and then we go from there. And then the next thing, like, the main priority is I want to fix the chat boxes, because you should be able to see the chats. It shouldn't take, like, 5 messages to see the most current one, basically. And, like, I've tried fixing it in the past just a couple of times. It's been a while since I've tried fixing it. I kind of gave up for a little bit, not gonna lie. But, like, it just doesn't work. It works great on YouTube. Like, hang on. Actually, does it work great on YouTube? Where is the YouTube chat? Oh, no. Did the YouTube chat die? Does it not work anymore? Hang on. Hello? Can you see me? How's that looking? It's not popping up for me. Oh, no. You know what? That's fine. That's so fine. I'll just work on it while fixing the Twitch one. That's fine. Because, I mean, fixing the YouTube one is, like, so easy. You literally just slap it in, and it's like, here's a chat box. With Twitch, for some reason, it's, like, harder, and I don't know why. I expect it to be a lot easier. But, yeah. Anyways, now that we've talked about that, now we can actually jump into this. But, you know, I, like, know very little about this. This is the Blooming Edition, which is, like, there's, like, some, like, extra stuff done to it. There's, like, a little bonus story down here, which I'm really excited for, because I think it's really cool, like, when, like, things get, like, re-released or, like, updated. Like, a lot of times, like, there's very, like, minor changes that get added, but here there's actually, like, a full bonus story, which I'm really excited for, just because, like, I don't know, it just shows, like, a lot of good, like, effort, like, care and love went into it if they add, like, big bonus things like that. But I do know this is, like, you know, a special edition, basically, of, like, the game. But I don't know too much about it. I know it's, like, a dark fantasy, but that's about all. Because, like, the way I work is... I don't know what started it, but, like, one time I was like, I don't really want to know much about this game. I want to go in, like, being very blind. Like, I've seen enough to know that I'm interested in it, but I don't want to know anymore. And it was, like, a great time. One of the best experiences I've had with, like... I want to say it was, like, a game. I don't know if it was a game or a TV show. I think it was a game. I'm pretty sure, 99%. And, like, it was, like, one of the best times, because I really got to, like, discover, like, everything for myself. And that, I feel like that just makes it, like, way more fun. So, like, you know, this was made by Studio Lawn, and, like, this was, like, right around the time that I was, like, finishing Please Be Happy, that they, like, were announcing this, like, that they were doing the Blooming Edition. So I was like, you know what? I have faith that it's going to be good. I saw this and, like, a couple other screenshots, and I went, I'm gonna get it. And so here we are. So yeah, I have, like, no expectations. I know nothing about it outside of these who are the main girls. I don't think I've even seen, like, this character here in the back. I don't think I've ever seen them before. That's how little about this game I know. So yeah, let's just jump on into it. There we go. Okay. I forgot that I had to, like, click onto the game. Oh, no. Why is it skipping? No, stop. Wait. Please note, the game contains disturbing themes and explicit content. View more. But this list is in no way exhaustive or complete, and not everything on this list is present in every playthrough. Please exercise caution while playing. Violence, graphic depictions of death and gore, homophobia, implied incestuous themes, codependency. Okay, so this is gonna get a little bit more...
When cold, cruel destiny has thee within her grasp, thou may endeavor bravely, dear, to change thy path. But fate cares not which twisted road you choose to take.
Yeah, just just a little bit more intense than Please Be Happy. Just a wee bit, you know?
Your dance atop her palm, with airy choice you make.
Like, I was expecting, like, it to be darker, because, you know, that's what it's, like, advertised as, is, like, a dark fantasy. I was not expecting it to come with, like, a caution screen at the beginning. That's kind of exciting, because I kind of like it when things get dark. Like, for me, my two vibes are, like, super cozy, like Please Be Happy, that sometimes get, like, a bit more intense, and then, like, super intense stuff. Like, my favorite things are super cozy, or like just straight up horror. So I'm like really excited for it now. Day 1. It was a morning like any other. The tragedy soon to unfold would affect so few people that time would swiftly forget it. For those involved, however, that morning was a maelstrom, drawing them each in closer and closer still. It all began innocently enough with a certain exiled princess in a terrible predicament.
Oh dear. Run out of firewood. Only I'd noticed yesterday.
I already love it. I love the feel of like the backgrounds. Like, okay, this is gonna sound so lame. I don't know, you know, it's not gonna sound lame at all. I think it's gonna make a lot of sense. I've been like falling in love with like a lot of like visual novel like backgrounds recently. Like they've all been like so high quality. Like I was just like looking at this and I'm like, this looks so cozy. Like just like from like the setup of the room to like the soft warm light coming in, I'm like, this is the coziest room ever. Also, Cassidy, very cute. I love her outfit so much. S tier already.
This has caught me quite unawares.
The ex-princess in question was named Cassidy, and she was the eldest child of the kingdom of Varamir. What's that you say? You've never heard of Varamir? One shouldn't be surprised. This all happened long before the universe summoned you into existence.
The next shipment isn't due for a little while yet.
What is this trying to imply? Is this trying to imply that me, the narrator, only came into existence a few minutes ago? That's getting very meta, and I love it.
But I cannot wait. I won't be able to cook or do laundry without a fire.
So long had the princess been living in this cottage alone that she'd taken to talking to herself just to feel less lonely. Determined to gather some wood before sundown, Cassidy grabbed a hatchet and some linen, and then quitted the place. I can read. You'd think for how much I read I'd be slightly more literate, but that's fine. Once outside, she paused, considering for the umpteenth time whether it would be best for her to lock the door.
No one will come in anyway. My brother's agents never enter. No one else travels this deep into the wood.
No, I could literally never. Even as like a little kid, if I'm leaving the house and no one else is there, that door is being locked. I was gonna say unless I don't have a way back in. I mean, like, even if I didn't have a way back in, sometimes I'd still lock it because I'm like, I don't want anyone coming in while I'm gone. I'd feel so bad if someone broke into the house because of me. I could never. Convincing herself so, Cassidy turned away and headed into the forest to begin her mission. Unfortunately, her determination and willpower were short-lived.
As I thought. Firewood isn't just lying on the ground just waiting to be picked up.
I mean, that's what most sticks just are, you know? Just firewood. Though she'd brought the hatchet, she'd foolishly hoped she wouldn't have to use it. Faced with so many different types of trees, most of them quite large, she was unsure how to proceed. Now that I think about it, how much firewood do I usually use at once? Oh, the more I try to remember, the more addled I get. Perhaps I'll just subsist on fruits and fungus. No. Ugh, no. Until the next crate arrives. A timely stomach growl quickly puts a stop to such plans. Cassidy let out a sigh.
For now, then, I shall return to my favorite place. It always brings me peace.
I should add, the whole surviving off a fruit thing, totally fine plan. You know, you're not gonna get all the nutrients you need, but as soon as you put in the fungus, I'm like, nope, that's where I check out the plan.
That place holds some magic I've always felt. I'm sure I shall be able to think of something once I'm there.
Gosh, this like is so pretty. This like little forest area here, it's so pretty. Her spirit restored, Cassidy hefted her linen satchel a little higher. It was not long until she would be comfortable again, she thought.
Why, you're as radiant as ever.
There were many views to take pleasure in this forest, but this one in particular always brought her delight. Though she had lived here now for some seasons, the trees before her seemed never to change.
I don't know much about wisteria. Are they meant to stay in bloom year-round? Perhaps the winters here are mild. Wisteria shall wither not when flakes of winter fall.
She has the same voice. She does? I was saying, like, her voice sounds, like, slightly familiar, but I was like, I can't place it. Like, I was, like, thinking, like, maybe she was, like, in some other, like, project that you guys did. That's some good range on her. Oh my gosh, that's so impressive. Because, like, not only does she, like, sound, like, completely natural here, she sounded completely natural as Juliet's. Like, that is impressive. Oh my gosh.
yet all must someday perish, while heeding nature's call.
Oh, well, this got existential really fast. Oh my gosh.
But nature wields not power o'er us all.
Oh. Hello, other narrator. Fancy seeing you here. A clear wind chime voice caught Cassidy's attention. Oh, hello! Cassidy's heart struck in her throat as she followed the sound and caught sight of the woman sitting there. I'm so sorry I called you another narrator. You're clearly not. You're also just in the scene. She had never before seen a woman so breathtakingly beautiful.
My apologies for interrupting your poem, madam.
It was only a couplet. You did not interrupt, so much as improve it.
Oh? Then all the better. But it is not safe to be so deep in the wood. Tarry not.
Is this character played by Dadavu? I hope that's how you pronounce her name. I have no idea. The same voice actress who played Miho and what was her name? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on Silver's like real name. Oh no, the name that she gave herself I'm blanking on. Regardless, is this the same actress that played those two? It sounds a lot like her.
I live here.
Not
quite
her.
Safe, I assure
Really?
you.
I was just listening to the way she talked. I was like, it kind of sounds like her, like how she plays Silver, just like, you know, like a little bit more like elegant and refined in a way. I'm surprised that it's not that. All right, but she sounds great though.
I dare say I have lived here much longer than you have.
No harm has ever come to me in these woods. Perhaps our experiences merely differ.
Certainly. I concede your point.
Cassidy paused a long while, unsure of how to carry on the conversation. Me with literally everyone. This was Natalie von Sistine. She played Eve in National Park Girls, but she wasn't in PBH. Okay. See, I haven't played National Park Girls. That's actually like one of the ones that was on the list because I was thinking like, oh, what should I play today? Because I kind of wanted to be like a sort of like celebration to be like a part of like the Stream Ambassadors and the Bellflowers. So like going between that and like I was thinking like Highway Blossoms would be a good one, but I was like, I feel like this makes sense because it just came out. But that's really cool. Like she's like giving me a good performance. That makes me like more excited for like National Park Girls. That's cool. Did I read that last part? Hang on. I want to make sure I read it. Mouse, wake up. Yes, okay, she did. I mean, yes, I did. How strange. I used to make small talk with all the courtiers as if they were nothing. Has time truly affected me so? Yeah, I feel like that's how most people after the pandemic were. Most people are like completely fine in social situations, and then after being alone for a little bit too long, no one can handle it anymore.
You say you live here?
I do.
I have never seen you. I'm quite sure of it. I would remember someone like you. Whereabouts do you live? If you don't mind my asking.
Hardly a stone's throw from where we now stand.
A choice. Hang on. How should we approach this? Okay, I'm gonna do a save here. I'm not someone who wants to like. Okay, this is actually a personal pet peeve of mine. It does slightly bug me when people like make choices in these games, and then like it sets up to be like a game with choices in it, and then like, you know, people save, go ahead, see like the consequences a little bit, and then go back and then pick the other one and go forward a little bit. Because I'm like, the point of like the questions or like the choices is so you can actually make your choice, and like you have to like deal with it. Like I understand if you get like a bad ending, then you need to reload. That's why I'm making the save here. But like if it isn't that, then it's like I don't know why it like bugs me so much that like when people do that. Like going back to when I was watching them play like Baldur's Gate, one of my friends just every single choice or every single dice roll that they didn't like, they just reset the game, and I didn't say anything because I'm like, you know, I'm not playing, it's them playing, and it shouldn't bug me as much as it does when it was driving me up the walls internally. I'll just say how can that be? I suppose she does not wish to expose where she lives to an utter stranger. That is so completely fair. That is reasonable. She seems to be quite on her guard.
I envy your view of this lovely place.
Do not envy me.
Oh, okay, I won't. What could that mean? How droll.
Oh, where are my manners? My name is Cassidy. I, too, live nearby.
You may call me Elowen.
That is such a pretty name. Oh my gosh. Also, these like their individual text boxes is so cool. I don't think I've ever seen like a game do that. Like, like games like sometimes do like, unique displays for like, oh, this is like a character talking, or if it's like the narration or stuff like that. I've never seen it be like, here's this character specific text box and here's this other character specific text box, and like have them like be like so distinct from each other. Like, it looks really cool.
Elowen.
What a lovely name.
Besides, I was already aware that you live nearby.
What? How?
Also, I just looked back over at the chat, and Natalie von Sistine, or Sistine, however you pronounce that, is like one of the coolest names ever. I didn't comment on it earlier, but then I was like, wait, what was that girl's name again? And I just looked back over and I was like, all right, it's a sick name.
I have seen you before, albeit from a distance.
Oh dear.
Oh, I didn't mean to skip over you. I'm so sorry.
Fool of myself.
I have seen
There we
you
go.
before, albeit from a distance. You come here often.
Oh dear. I must have been making a complete fool of myself. I am sorry that you've had to witness that.
I love the confidence from Cassidy. She thinks so highly of herself right now. Cassidy thought back to all the complaining she'd done under this tree, and all the time she'd sullied herself trying to gather fruit. There were many others, truly mortifying memories. She stared at the ground in shame. When she looked up, however, Elowen was smiling. Cassidy felt her tension wane.
So what brings you back to this place?
I wanted to calm myself.
Calm yourself? What for? What could possibly cause you distress?
What a sour tone. Does she think I just daydream and laze about all day?
Many things. I'll have you know that at this very minute, I am on a mission that might mean the difference between life and death.
Oh, and yet you dally here. What could this mission involve, pray tell?
I see my presence is not wanted here. I shall return to my search forthwith.
Just as she was about to turn away and leave, Elowen and the wisteria tree behind, Cassidy heard Elowen laugh softly. It was a bewitching sound.
I see I have offended milady. No offense was meant, I can assure.
Really?
Truly, I would never wish to cause you pain. Tell me of your mission.
I have run out of firewood.
Upon hearing this, Elowen stood up and dusted herself off.
Allow me to be of service.
You're gonna gather firewood in that dress? You are so much braver than me. If I was wearing something like... Granted, Cassie's kind of the same situation. If I was wearing anything as nice as what they're wearing, you could not catch me, like, anywhere near anything that could get them dirty. I'd be way too anxious about it.
Oh no, I couldn't possibly impose.
Please. This tree suffers so much every time you shed your tears and frustration upon it.
She feels just slightly called out right now. Just a little bit. Yet despite her abrasive words, Elowen was tirelessly helpful. It was she who taught Cassidy to gather smaller bits of kindling and use the hatchet when that proved insufficient.
If you wrap these smaller branches together, they shall burn just fine.
I see. Oh, I am certainly glad not to have to chop down a whole tree. I was worried about that.
I think if your plan was to chop down the whole tree, we'd have a different issue entirely.
Yes. Once felled, a tree can never rise again. Take of them their fruit, their branches, but spare them their roots and lifeblood.
Lifeblood?
Do trees have blood?
This forest is quite old, you know. I wish it would stay forever this way. But man has trouble leaving things be.
The disparity between Elowen's indifferent expression and the biting tone of her voice made Cassidy's heart ache. She must have had a bad experience. She must... I just love the difference in, like, the thought process of, like, she must have had bad experiences, or she just really likes trees, guys. That... I love that. I'm gonna pick this one, though.
We humans are meddlesome things, aren't we?
Perhaps I'm making too light of her feelings. I thought that was rather an intelligent thing to... her like inner dialogue is like pushing it like so much. Like I love, like, especially now that like I fully understand like that's what this is like her inner dialogue. I love it. Just like, I thought that was a rather intelligent thing to say. Not me every single time I say something that isn't intelligent at all.
You truly love this forest.
Yes. In fact, I feel that I am part of it, and it is part of me.
So, are we talking like very metaphorically right now, or is there some kind of like magic going on? How beautiful. The two continued through the forest, gathering wood and passing the time with easy conversation. As they walked leisurely, the sun began to sink. So too did the satchel of wood over Cassidy's shoulder sag.
It seems that you've gathered plenty of wood now. Surely that will be enough?
Oh, thank you for playing Wave. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. And thank you for stopping by, Addie. Sorry if that's not how you pronounce your name. That's just how I've always like thought of it being pronounced. But thank you for stopping by. It's awesome to see you here. I'm so excited to get into this, and I'm like already really enjoying it so far. Like, for me, like the mark of like a good like I don't want to say like any story or like I'd say like more romance is like how good like the characters like bounce off of each other, like if there's actual chemistry there, if they seem like a good match, you know. And so far, nailing it. And that sounds right enough, you know. I'll take that. That's better than most of what I get when I try to pronounce people's names, so I'll take it.
You're right.
The time had quite gone away from the exiled princess. Now that their afternoon together was coming to an end, Cassidy was afraid. Afraid and hopeful, which was perhaps more dangerous still.
Then...
Excuse me, Miss Elowen?
Yes?
Might I... That is, might we meet again?
Oh, she's already into her.
You've no idea how happy I am to meet another person living in this wood. And a woman at that.
Yet the expression on Elwyn's face showed that she had, in fact, some idea.
I was about to suggest the same.
Oh, nice. Let's go. We're already in.
You might find me in this area most afternoons.
I see. Then, until tomorrow.
Would that we meet so soon, my lady.
With that, Elwyn bowed and left. Her steps make almost no sound. What a graceful woman. Not just beautiful, but elegant and smart. As she walked back to her cottage, so filled with thoughts of Elwyn was her head. And Cassidy forgot all about her fatigue and the weight of her burden. She certainly is opinionated, but she must have so much more experience living independently than I.
I hope I am not a bother to her.
And with that, the once princess returned home, blissfully unaware of the roots that were this very moment grabbing hold of her heels and pulling her beneath. You know, this might sound weird, but I'm really glad that, like,
It
we
is
haven't...
said a fool repeats his days.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. But it's gonna sound weird, but I feel like I'm really happy that we didn't, like, delve into, like, why she's, like, an exiled princess, like, immediately. Like, setting up, like, some mystery to, like, keep people, like, engaged, while also, like, letting, like, the story set up, like, naturally, and, like, getting you introduced to the characters before hitting you with, like, I guess, like, the backstory, you know? I feel like that's, like, most people will immediately be like, oh, we have, like, this exiled princess. Let's just start off with, like, how she got exiled. And then we can, like, you know, do, like, everything else after that. And I feel like this is, like, a very effective way of, like, getting us, like, invested in the characters before we get to that stuff. So I really like it.
Changing not, but expecting change. I posit these men are by routine hogtied. They expect not, and are by not satisfied.
Day 2. I'm also really, like, liking the syntax used for, like, the narration and, like, that stuff, like, between the days. It's, like, feels very, like, kind of like old-timey medieval style, which is, like, it fits the setting very well. There's a sort of melancholy one feels when closing a book for the final time, feeling its last words wash over you as you leave its world and return to your own life. It was an ennui that Cassie had grown used to. I have zero confidence I pronounced that word right, but I will not be corrected on it. In her former life, she had received the best education that money and bribery might buy. Now that bright mind was left to languish, fed by nothing more than a single new book each fortnight. By now, Cassidy was in the habit of reading very slowly indeed. She shut her latest tome and placed it upon the table next to her half-written letter to her brother.
I never sound quite myself in these letters. How do you write from a distance to one whom you once saw daily? And how do you write anything at all when your life has grown so dull?
She's being a little too relatable right now with the whole tendonitis thing. It was like sort of like start conversations with people because I'm like, what do I talk about? Because like what I did yesterday was I worked and watched Netflix. The day before that was I worked and watched Netflix. Same thing with the day before that. So it was like, I'm just gonna let this person talk about them, and if the conversation comes back to me, it's just not going to. I'm just gonna steer it right back towards them. She decided to pen a few more sentences on how moved she felt after reading the book, and how profoundly distressed she was by the ending of it. Family is important, but so too is recognizing the value of what you have before it's too late. If only the king had realized what a wonderful daughter he had. And I hope that you might realize how much you are loved by me, your one and only sister. She paused, overcome by sheer feeling, and decided to keep that final bit to herself. It was too desperate for comfort, and princesses did not whinge so.
No, that won't do at all. How unbecoming.
With a sigh, Cassidy stared at the crackling fire. She had more than enough firewood now to last her until her next shipment of it. The sight reminded her of Elowen.
I wonder what Elowen is doing at this very moment.
She could not fathom the day-to-day life of such a mysterious personage was utterly beyond her imagination. Her curiosity so engaged it was now impossible to ignore. And so, the fair Cassidy resolved herself to take a walk and casually seek the other woman out.
Perhaps I'll even stumble across where she lives today. Wouldn't it be exciting to surprise her at her home?
Thinking nothing at all of how inconvenient, how overly forward and impertinent it might be, she departed immediately. Once outside, Cassidy took in a deep lungful of crisp forest air.
How lovely it is today. Hardly a cloud in the sky.
The narration is so sassy, and it's so good so far. It just adds so much character to like the entire story. It's so good. How lovely it is today. Hardly a cloud in the sky. I also do love that it's specifically sassy towards Cassidy, and I think that's a very funny dynamic of the narrator just kind of making fun of the main character. It's kind of great. She took measured steps into the forest, constantly scanning the area around her, on the lookout for this elusive domicile. I've never heard someone call someone else an elusive domicile. I need to add that to my dictionary, I'll say. Might Elowen live in a cottage like mine? She is so elegant. I cannot imagine her doing housework. Then again, I could hardly imagine myself doing housework not so long ago. Oh, how times change a person. Cassidy reached her beloved wisteria tree before long and eagerly drank in the sight of it. She ran up to the tree and encircled it with her arms, as if meaning to embrace it.
Hello, dear tree. You are looking as lovely as ever today. Though a certain someone sits not beneath your boughs this afternoon.
She leaned to one side and then another, looking around the tree and into the forest to see if she might spy a window or the billowing of chimney smoke. Sadly, she could make out only more trees.
I can't suppose that Elowen lives in a tree house, does she?
Certainly not.
Startled, Cassidy jumped. Cassidy jumped, her foot catching unhappily on one of the tree's roots, sending her flailing forward.
Careful.
Elowen's arm shot out at once, her vice-like grip snaring the once princess just in time. Elowen jumps. I love that, the way she just slid into frame from below, because usually things fade in or slide in from the side, with the way she just actually popped up is so good. Elowen's touch was so cold, yet her movements decisive. Cassidy's heart raced. Was she truly worried for me? It took Cassidy several moments to regain her composure. Elowen, too, looked a bit shaken.
Thank goodness you arrived when you did. Though, truth be told, if you hadn't startled me so, I would not have fallen.
Listen, she caused the problem and she solved it. It's fine.
Is that so? I shall endeavor to be less frightening in the future then.
Oh dear, she may have mistaken my meaning. I was only trying to cover up my embarrassment. I'm gonna go with perhaps Elwyn was joking. That's how I'd play it off. Although the boom that plays whenever I make a choice makes me feel a little less certain in that decision. On second thought, was that perhaps a joke?
You look much better with a smile.
Oh, I think it was a joke. Oh, we're doing so good at this.
As do you. Still, how curious it is for us to be meeting here again.
You come here often? I live nearby. What is curious about it?
Listen, Elwyn, I'm glad you said it so I didn't have to.
I'm merely saying that it is serendipitous. It must be fate.
Fate has nothing to do with it, I assure you.
But it's so much more romantic to think of it as fate.
I can think of nothing less romantic than fate.
Hmm?
Perhaps this is something not yet possible for you to understand.
Don't speak as though you're much older and wiser than me.
But she could very well be both of those things. Elwyn laughed a
How
little.
old are you, anyway?
How old do you think?
Cassidy stared at Elwyn, gazing deeply into her eyes, as if she might find the other woman's secrets there. Cassidy used flirt. It was ineffective. Oh, just a little ineffective. Yeah, it didn't do much damage.
Older than I first thought, perhaps.
A wise answer.
Elwyn tipped her head slightly, the motion seeming to indicate a desire to walk on. Cassidy was only too happy to comply. Together, the two women strolled. Their time together was marked by companionable silence. Cassidy, never before a quiet girl, was desperate to fill it, but what conversation might pique Elwyn's interest was unclear. Oh no, her flirts are still ineffective. Oh no! She peered shyly at Elwyn's face and profile. So striking and noble did it seem. She has the air of an aristocrat. What could someone like she be doing living in the forest? Then again, am I not in the same position? Perhaps it's something she finds difficult to speak of. An icy gust of wind whistled through the clearing, causing Cassidy to shiver and rub her bare arms.
The sun will be setting soon, and it will grow colder. Perhaps you should...
It was then that the question Cassidy had been ruminating on over all afternoon burst
Would you
forth.
like to come to my cottage?
You know what? Some people might say that she's coming off a little desperate. I just say she just knows what she wants. All right, there's a difference. She knows what she wants and she's going for it, and I respect her for it. Cassie does not give up. No, she doesn't, and nor should she. Unless Elwyn says no, in which case she should. But again, she knows what she wants, and she's gonna get it. Elwyn appeared quite overcome.
Is that... wise?
Whatever do you mean?
How can you extend such an invitation to one such as me, whom you hardly know? You are entirely too trusting.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna disagree with the too trusting part. She does just leave her door unlocked, which, again, even if I was up in the middle of the woods all by myself, you would never find me with that door locked. Because what if someone just accidentally stumbled upon where we were and wandered in and just, started taking my stuff or set up to kill me? Never. But at the same time, if you did mean us harm, you could have just done it, I don't know. I feel like we could trust you at least a little bit.
I'm surprised at you. Two solitary women ought to stick together out in these wilds. Besides, who else have I to invite? That is, I sometimes feel quite lonely out here. Don't you?
Elwyn turned her head slightly and gazed into the forest behind them, as if peering at something only she could see.
Loneliness, then. I see. Very well. I will take you up on your offer.
Though puzzled by Elwyn's hesitation, Cassidy was overjoyed that her invitation had been accepted. There was a spring in her step as she had led the other woman to her home. It was only in front of the cottage that Cassidy suddenly understood what an impetuous thing it was that she was doing. Is the house clear? Listen, this is why I can't ever invite people to my house. I'm the type of person who's like, oh yeah, if your house isn't clean, like you have nothing to be embarrassed about. Like we're all human, we all have messes from time to time, and we're not going to be clean all the time. With me, it's like, oh my gosh, should I leave a cup in the sink? Did I forget to do all the dishes? If the bathroom's perfectly spotless? I can't have people in my house if there's even a single thing out of place. So I relate to this really heavily right now, and it's making me feel called out. She could not seem to recall when she had last swept or aired out her bedding.
Is this where you live?
Yes.
It's charming.
Well, thank you. I wish I could take more credit for that. The house was here long before I arrived. Even the furniture is not truly my own.
Still,
Oh?
it suits you.
That makes me wonder if this was like set up as like a play. Well, she's exiled. I was gonna say, like, is this like a place where like royals that go if like they need to like hide, but like again she was exiled. But again, at the same time, she's in contact with her brother, so maybe it's her brother who like knew of this place and sent her here. That's a possibility. Especially since like with all the flowers and how everything's set up outside, it seems like very well taken care of, you know? And people are coming here to bring her supplies every fortnight, she says, so people know, like, at least, like, people who work with her brother know about it, so...
Thank you.
Bolstered by Elowen's reaction, Cassidy finally gained the courage to follow through. She opened the door wide, gesturing for the other woman to enter. As Elowen did so with her usual slow, measured steps, Cassidy could not help but notice the other woman's feet, clearly visible in the slippers she wore. Her toes were curled. How odd. Is that odd? They stayed that way even as Elowen entered the house. Perhaps her manner of walking is not purely for the sake of elegance, but also necessity. Okay, you know, the more I'm thinking about it, that is a little weird, but I'm not gonna judge her for it. Had Elowen some sort of pain in her feet? Cassidy pondered on this, and resolved to ask about it when the opportunity arose. Maybe...
It is
I mean, I was gonna say
quite
maybe don't
spacious.
ask her about her feet, but...
You live here. Alone?
That's right.
Yes?
It's not so bad. I don't have anyone to tell me what to do, or where to go. I have a freedom now that I'd never known before.
Perhaps. But sometimes I believe that being tied down to something is easier. If you don't realize you're being strangled, it's just a pleasant, lightheaded feeling.
It sounds like she's speaking from experience, just a little bit on that.
I don't really understand.
It's alright if you don't.
Elowen walked slowly from one part of the room to the next, her fingertips ghosting over every surface. She looked to be seeking the essence of each object, taking in every minute flaw and deciphering its true nature. Cassidy wondered what Elowen might discover about her if only she allowed it, if only she dared. It was unbearably quiet. Very normal things to say, Elowen. Oh yes, absolutely. She just drops this like great metaphor about being strangled, and Cassidy's just like, yeah, you want to see the kitchen? You want to see my bedroom? And it's just like, and then they just move on with their lives, you know? Oh, I already read that. Just then, Elowen came across the book Cassie had finished reading.
Oh, that's a book my brother sent to me. I get so frightfully bored here that these books have become my sanctuary. I'm expecting a new shipment soon.
Your brother?
Elowen was silent for a time, digesting that new information, and then her eyes fell on the half-finished letter haphazardly placed next to the book. Cassidy followed her gaze, eyes wide. She leapt forward to snatch the letter away. How much had the other woman seen? She colored in mortification.
Your brother is far away from here.
Yes.
Is it beautiful? The place where you once both lived?
I have not once seen its equal.
More beautiful than this cottage prison of yours?
I don't know if it could be. This is a great cottage. Like, I'm looking at this and like, you know, obviously again the loneliness part, but like outside of that, this looks like a great place to live. Cassidy could not hide her surprise at Elowen's poisonous choice of words, nor could she hide her sudden tears. Oh no. Hang on, I just want to go back and like see if I can like just
I
like
have not
beautiful
once
place to
seen
live,
More
or beautiful like Oh, okay. She asked the hard-hitting questions right off the bat. Thanks, Elowen. I'll just say it's not like that. She dried her eyes delicately, but with determination. Now is not the time for tears.
Things are complicated. It's not as clear-cut as you seem to believe.
Undoubtedly. The affairs of men oft are. However, all that I need to know is that he is there, and you are here. That he is responsible for that difference can be inferred quite easily.
You are a fast reader to be able to jump to such conclusions so swiftly.
Oh, that's such a good line. Oh my gosh. I need to hit someone with that someday, because that's a great line. Good job, Cassidy.
I am not unhappy here, Elowen.
Can you say that, truly? With an unclouded heart?
Elowen peered into Cassidy's eyes, and their gazes held, like two magnets pulling each other in closer, and closer still. Yet Cassidy could not do it. She could not look Elowen in the eye and tell an untruth. Elowen looked to the window.
It has gotten dark.
Oh my! How rude of me. I have not offered you tea or any refreshment.
Do not trouble yourself on my account. I must away. I did not mean to impose for so long.
Oh, you are hardly an imposition.
Yeah, you just kind of came in here, looked at my stuff, talked about being strangled, and almost made me cry. Hardly an imposition at all.
You are kind. And good.
Cassidy's face lit up.
Kind and good things do not survive long in a world such as ours.
And just as quickly as it had come, the sudden rush of delight left her face. Bowing her head, the other woman was out the door and gone, leaving hurt and confusion in her wake. When she looked out the window to glimpse the same view that Elowen had just beheld, what Cassidy saw before her was but a bleak uncertainty.
Without wisdom or experience, storms shall ill-weathered be. But when you are nearby, dear one, no storms can bother me.
I love the little OST that's playing during like these in-between day poems. It is like so subtle and so creepy at the same time. It's so good. Day 3. To my dear Alexander, the exiled princess paused on the very first line of her letter. Is that too familiar? Will he dislike it? The brother of her memory was a kind boy, but rather stiff and particularly mindful of decorum. Following the events of the previous evening, Cassie felt compelled to rewrite her half-finished letter. Not that Alexander would care. I want Alexander to see me at my best. Oh, but I don't know too much about Alexander's personality outside that he does like his decorum. Is so good. Hang on, an Xpot. I can't. Oh my gosh, that name I cannot. Exile is so good, and they have an entire album that are royalty free. Some are even free to use. Really? Oh my gosh, it's okay. Again, I'm glad I'm not the only one, because like you like as soon as like you sent the message and I saw, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot with that name. I can't. But that's so cool. Like they have an entire album that are royalty free. That's awesome, because like I don't know. As far as I can tell from like the vibes of the game, it seems to just match it so perfectly. And I'm like, I could totally see this being like in the background of someone reading like a creepy story. It like fits so well. So like it's really good. Oh, what do I? The new songs for Wave were actually composed to be released. Wait, really? There's a mix of both? That's awesome. Oh, that's so good to know. You know, no, won't get copyrighted by it. Oh, thank you for the link. Oh my gosh, thank you. Because I was like, I have been like looking for like more like music to put in like backgrounds, like videos and stuff. So like if they like make like music that's good and also royalty free, that's going to be super helpful. So thank you. Also, it's just going to be like awesome to like listen to. Oh wait, that's just the Without a Voice original soundtrack. Oh, I'm so excited to listen to that, because like that's one of my favorite things to do with like a new like game or anything like that, is like as I go through it, just go back and listen to like the entire soundtrack. It's like Specifically if it's like a good soundtrack, you know, which so far it has been, and I'm so excited. Their Bandcamp has a lot more too. That's so freaking cool. I'm just gonna save this really quick because I don't want to like lose it later. Open, link in new tab. I'm just gonna take a quick little peeksy-poo at this. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for that. That's awesome. I'm just gonna move that over. Yeah, thank you so much for that. That's so cool. Oh my gosh, I still forgot that we had this this decision to make. Not that Alexander would care. I want to see Alexander my best. We also haven't saved it a little bit. I'm just gonna do a quick save here on this. I didn't mean to do a quick or anything. Let's just go back to 1. Return. You know what? I want Alexander to see me at my best. That's what I'm gonna do. I do not wish to disappoint him or bore him with my minutia, my original draft. She sighed, recalling the contents of the now ripped up pages. I pined far too much. I would never whine, of course, but my words were drawing near that. She was afraid to admit, even to herself, how much she missed her brother. Cassie finished the letter without much of a fuss. She wrote briefly of Elowin, a passer-by, helping her find firewood. Most of the contents, however, were in regards to the book she had recently finished. Perhaps this will encourage my dear brother to send me more. Wait, hang on, I want to go back and read the letter. Hang on. To my dear Alexander, I hope that this letter finds you well, dear brother. I have greatly enjoyed the last book you sent me. However, it had such a sad ending, even though the father loved his youngest daughter, so it all came to nothing in the end. Both of them died. Oh, what a pleasant book to be reading while you're out here in the woods alone. Can there be any worse fate than to die at your loved one's hands? Oh, that just got so much darker. I dare say not. The book has given me much to think about, though. I do hope you send a happier tome next time. I do begin to tire of reading such dreary works. Wait. Hang on. Is there a way to clear? Hang on. I didn't mean to click that. I wonder if there's a way to clear this out so we can read. Well, my life here is not so sad. You might see I have lived well thanks to your kindness. I think hiding the UI hides everything. Oh, but you know what? That makes sense though, because like with this letter, I could see it being part of the UI, so that would make sense. Trouble the other day when I ran out of firewood, but a passerby helped me. You know, and even though it was just like this little line like right here that I was struggling to read, but we got it. We did it. When Cassidy looked out the window, she realized the sun had started to set.
Oh dear. Was I revising for so long? Silly me.
Me every single time I go to tweet anything. She folded up her letter and placed it in an envelope, sealing it away with the royal wax seal she was given. She stood and stretched her arms above her head.
I have hardly moved all day. That is no good.
Cassidy walked to the front of the cottage, where she normally left her letters halfway beneath the door for an agent to collect. She had just stuffed her letter under the door when...
Princess?
Oh. I think she knows her secret. Cassidy's blood ran cold for just a moment. Yet she soon realized who it was addressing her and relaxed.
You surprised me, Elowin.
She spoke to the other woman through the half-opened window at the front of the cottage.
I am no princess, you know.
Is that so? You seem like one to me.
Cassidy, she's onto us. You gotta come up with a better lie than I'm not a princess. You gotta say something to throw her off. Cassidy was not sure how to respond to that sentiment. Had I casually let slip that I was a princess? I did not realize that I still behaved in the manner of one. Lifelong habits cannot so soon be discarded, it seems.
There is an envelope under the door.
Oh, yes. Do leave it there. It's outgoing.
Outgoing?
Elowin paused for a long while, but said no more on the subject.
May I come in?
Oh, of course. I'm so sorry. I should have invited you sooner. I was so taken aback, you see.
I did not mean to surprise you so.
It's all right. A happy surprise. I am so glad to see you.
She opened the door and ushered Elowin inside. This time, Cassidy did not forget her manners. She quickly flew into the kitchen to make her guest some tea and pulled out the crackers she'd set aside for just such an occasion. Elwyn politely sipped the tea, but did not touch the crackers. This would be like I suppose she's already eaten is what I would think. Cause like, not to keep relating it to myself. That's also something I tend to often do, is that I like, oh, you know, before I go out with people, I'll just eat, because I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna eat when we were hanging out or whatever, like yada yada yada, and I don't want to just assume, so I'd rather have eaten already and be saved. My special crackers. Why doesn't she eat my crackers? Listen, we gotta give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she already ate. Although it would be funny to just keep offering her the crackers, like, please eat my crackers. But I suppose she's already eaten. Is there a healthy glow to Elwyn's face? I suppose she has already eaten. She strikes me as the type who would worry about her figure. My special crackers I set for a special occasion. That is the saddest part, though, that she's been like setting them aside for this occasion. She's like not gonna take them. But hey, listen, if we play our cards right, there's gonna be more special occasions. So another time. And it is so late in the day already. Yes, I'm sure she has already supped and can eat no more. Granted, a cracker doesn't fill up much, but whatever. Cassidy endeavored not to take offense and instead greedily partook of the crackers herself. The two women talked pleasantries for some time, though it became rather apparent that Elwyn's attention lay elsewhere.
Is everything quite all right?
Why do you ask?
You seem somewhat reserved. That is more than usual.
That letter. You said it was outgoing. Is that the letter you wrote your brother?
Oh, yes. If I leave the letters there, someone will come collect it.
Someone? How can that be? You do not go into town to have your mail delivered?
No, that would defeat the point of secluding myself in the woods. She was at a loss as to how to explain. Cassidy herself knew that her situation was extraordinary.
You see, though I live alone, I am well taken care of. My brother provides everything. Every fortnight or so, his agents deliver food and supplies to me. Someone is around to collect my outgoing letters once or twice a day. I only ever send my brother letters, of course.
I was not wrong when I said this place was like a jail.
She suddenly got very intense. Cassidy, I think we need to walk that back. She did not like our answer. Did her eyes also change? Hang on. I just looked at her face. I'm like, I feel like her eyes are a different color than they used to be. Or at least like a darker color. I'm a little scared.
Why do you live here alone? When he clearly has enough resources to take care of you.
Cassidy shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Elwyn's eyes seemed not to look at her so much as bore into her soul. Maybe they didn't change. Maybe that was just my imagination of the sudden intensity coming off of her. Cassidy felt judged and deemed unworthy, though she had not yet responded to Elwyn's inquiry. No matter how she phrased it in her head, it sounded awful.
I am here for my own safety.
She took a deep breath.
When you called me Princess earlier, you were not far off the mark. I once was a princess, though I am no longer. After my father, the king's death, I was to inherit the throne. But our barons in Parliament voted no confidence. Worse, I was then handed trumped-up charges of treason. I very well could have been executed. Instead, my younger brother intervened on my behalf.
Hang on. I need to do some R&D. I don't know what trumped charges of treason are. What is trumped wait, hang on. My brain,
After
hang
my
on.
father,
Wait.
was,
Trumped up charge.
I was then handed
Wait,
trumped
nope. I just
charges of
misread it. I get what it means
treason.
now. It's kind of like, yeah, fake
I very well could
accusations.
have been
Exactly.
executed.
Yeah. That's like, I misread it as like trumped charges of treason. I was like, that's a weird way to say it. But yeah, no, trumped up charges, like, yeah, it definitely makes sense with fake accusations. Thank you.
Instead, my younger brother intervened on my behalf.
So you are.
Alive. In exile. But alive.
Oh, hey Cassidy, you doing okay? Suddenly you're looking a little tired. The former princess surprised herself at the depth of her own feelings, at the desperation with which she tried to convince especially herself that this was for the best. Oh, okay. I personally would rather be exiled than dead. Like, yeah, both suck, obviously. Like, this is a terrible situation she's in, especially since there's probably more to this than what we've talked about so far. I'd still rather be exiled. I mean, we have a pretty house, you know, we've met a pretty girl, we have pretty flowers, we live in a pretty forest. It doesn't seem like it seems terrible, but it could be worse, you know? Not to downplay her situation, but you know, again, it's a step up from death, in my opinion.
It's not so terrible. This cottage is lovely. It is a good thing to be among nature like this.
You know, the way she's saying the things that I basically just said, making me feel a little less confident in what I just said.
How can you be so positive?
What?
You speak so fondly of your brother, when he is the one who exiled you, who left you here to rot in isolation.
It's not like that, Elowen.
What part of what I said is false? Tell me.
It's not that simple. It is not Alexander's fault.
She found herself repeating her thoughts on the matter mechanically, things she only half believed. She had said all these things before. It seemed she had no more believed them now.
As a result of your dear Alexander's intervention, you were exiled, were you not?
To be fair, you know, I will say, if we're just exiled by Alexander for our sake of keeping us alive, he could send us a few more books than he does. That's all I'm gonna say, is he could have exiled us, but made it better, you know?
Who's to say he was not responsible for the unfavorable vote in the first place?
Why would he do that? What would he have to gain?
Being king. I think Elwyn's thinking the exact same thing as me.
It is not my brother's fault. He could have let them kill me, but I am alive thanks to him.
I've previously stated my belief that you are kind and good. I have now revised my opinion. You are a blind fool.
Elwyn, this girl is cute, but her head is full of rocks. Yeah, like the ellipses, the long line of ellipses said so much of her thoughts on Cassidy, right? They're like, is this girl for Laura now? Does she not see what her brother has to gain from becoming king and exiling you? He has everything to gain from it. Oh, so good.
As I am mute, you are blind. Altogether too blind to the selfish ways of the world.
What is your meaning?
Exactly what Addie just said. That your head is just full of rocks.
It is nothing. Believe in your brother all you wish, but you cannot deny that there is a truth to what I've said.
Oh wait, did I skip it? It sounded like she was like...
It is...
Okay, no, that was just her like taking a deep breath. Okay. Elwyn rose from her seat in one swift movement and then headed for
Good
the
night,
door.
Princess.
I am princess no longer. Mock me not, I beg you.
Oh, this hurts. She looks so hurt and she sounds... But you could feel the pain in her voice. Oh my gosh. Just like that, she was gone, disappeared into the dark. Cassidy wrapped her arms around her torso, hugging herself for comfort in the wake of Elwyn's sudden, indignant anger. Feeling comfort none, the former princess squeezed her eyes shut. Oh, Alexander, if only she knew you as I do, then she would understand. Like, yeah, that is a hard situation of, like, from Elwyn's perspective, like, she hears a story, and she kind of has the same thought. Oh,
that can't be bought.
I'll talk about it after this poem.
No matter how long it may be sought. It is something priceless, yet free. I speak, of course, of an apology.
Day 4. But like again, from Elwyn's perspective, she kind of had the same thoughts of I did of like I don't know this brother at all. I don't know Alexander. So we hear that story, and when she goes, "What does he have to gain?" and we both go, "Literally everything." It's hard to not understand why Elwyn would be upset for Cassidy's sake. Even after only like just meeting Cassidy, she hears like she sees in this situation, she sees like how like hard this situation's been on Cassidy, like being like isolated out here all alone for however long it's been. And she just goes like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible, and your brother could very easily be the one behind it, and he has the most to gain from it, so it's probably him." And but then you have Cassidy who's like, "No, but like I know my brother and I love my brother and he wouldn't do this to me." But that's also like the sad part is like sometimes even the people you love will absolutely screw you over to get what they want, you know? So it's like you can so easily see it from like both perspectives, like why they're so like, "No, this is what happened," and like, "No, this is what happened," kind of thing, you know? So it's like that's a hard situation to be in. After a restless sleep, Cassidy woke to the sun's harsh rays.
Hmm.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! What just happened right
Good
there?
night.
I think I might have actually pressed a trigger and it like reversed it. That was kind of cool.
There is a trick. It is nice.
Hmm.
She stretched, arcing her back to release the tension there. Finally, her gaze went to the front door. There was a distinct lack of a letter beneath it. They must have come in the night. How diligent my brother's agents are. You are a blind fool. All at once, the memories of her argument with Elwyn nearly knocked the wind out of her.
I cannot believe I divulged such secrets to someone I barely know.
Hey man, isolation does that to you. It makes you just want like that connections in any way, you know? Cassie was puzzled both at herself and Elwyn's odd behavior. I'm gonna say I like to save at the decisions because again, like I'm not sure like how if there are like bad ends in this, so I tend to save there. Also, just like it's a good place to save just in case like anything happens and we don't want to like to go back through everything. But I'm gonna click. I'm sure she had her reasons because I literally just talked about here are her reasons, you know, kind of thing. Elwyn appeared so upset. I wonder if she experienced something similar. Perhaps my blind optimism reminded her too much of it. I'm sure she is only worried for me. I seem to inspire that breed of pity in others. Oh. That's such a sad thing to think. Oh my gosh. I can understand that. I'm afraid I often come off as quite helpless.
I must ask her about her own life. We know so little about each other. It's no wonder she would react that way. One can only draw conclusions based on what one already knows.
Presently, there was a knock at the door. Given how long it had been since her last shipment, as well as the fact that Elwyn was far more likely to announce her presence with her words, Cassidy could draw but one conclusion. She waited nearly 10 minutes before opening the door. It was protocol. She knew not who her brother sent, and it was unclear whether they knew whom they were delivering to. The royal family of Varamir had a distinctive look to them. It would not do for too many people to know who she was, or that the former princess dwelled here. When she finally allowed herself to open the door, she found a large wooden crate not unlike the previous ones. Sitting atop the crate's contents was a sealed envelope. Cassidy instantly recognized the severe cursive. To my sister, I am glad to hear that you are adjusting well to life at the cottage. Doubtless there are many things that challenge you, given your former life, but we all must make the best of things. I know that you have too much time on your hands, so I have been sure to enclose more books for you to read. You may one day be called upon to marry well for the advantages of king and the country. As such, it is of the utmost importance that you keep your mind sharp and your hands unidle. Okay, that's... I don't want to jump to any conclusions. That right there bothered me. That you may one day be called upon to marry well for the advantage of the king and country. Would it do any good for you to have, like, the princess who's exiled, like, be married? Like, what advantages does that give you? Like, why would any other countries look at that and be like, oh yeah, you know that exiled princess who's no longer really a princess? Let's get them married, you know? Like, that seems weird to me and doesn't make sense in my brain. So that instantly, like, draws more suspicion to Alexander being like, a part of it. Like maybe he didn't like officially exile her, but just kind of like was like, oh yeah, no, you're like totally exiled, dude. If you don't go to this cottage, like, and let me be king, you might have to die. Oh no, you know, kind of thing. That's like I'm instantly more on Elwyn's side after reading that one line. It just bothers my brain. The last part seemed to have been written later, as the script looks slightly different. I think of you often. I worry about you more often still. Be safe in the forest and keep to yourself, though I know that is difficult for you. Please await my next letter. I remain your loyal brother, A. She read over the letter many times, trying her best to glean affection from it.
Alexander has always been a little awkward.
She doesn't, I feel like she, like, thinking back, like, how she was with, like, her other thoughts about Alexander, I think she was already thinking, like, some, like, doubtful things about him and his intentions. And I think it's, like, really setting into her, like, after what Elwyn said.
I'm sure the last bit was added with some reluctance, after one of his advisors chastised him for the content of his letter.
She smiled and ran her fingertips along the part that read, I think of you often. But then she remembered the sentence about marriage. I don't think we need to save here. That's fine, that's fine. See, I don't necessarily think that she doesn't want to get, like, well, you know, she probably doesn't want to get married to, like, the people for, like, the country and everything, so that's, like, that makes sense. So I don't, like, I'm pretty sure that's what this is asking. There's no way I'm clicking how thoughtful. That doesn't sound thoughtful at all. I've never considered marriage before, even before my exile. Can a noble or royal from another nation be content with a wife who has been living in the woods? Can I even be content myself in such a marriage? The letter did not raise her spirits as much as the letters from Alexander usually did. The implications of it weighed on her. Of course, I must be useful to the kingdom somehow. Why else would I be alive? If I can be of use, even as a disgraced princess. Cassidy sighed. She could not finish that thought. All of a sudden, Cassidy wanted nothing but to see Elwyn again.
I will seek her out. I must.
The other woman's presence would certainly be a solve for her current mood. That was her reasoning, and she swiftly acted upon it. Cassidy set the crate away inside the cottage and then set out. After a long, fruitless walk about the forest, she arrived in front of the wisteria tree.
Elwyn.
Princess?
Okay, yeah, in that moment when she was getting mad, her eyes definitely didn't change color. That was just my imagination. That's good to know. I don't want to go about thinking like, oh, she has like some magical thing going on where if she gets angry, her eyes change color or something like that.
I am no longer a princess.
Just because you no longer live in a castle does not mean that you are no longer a princess.
Cassidy was reminded of that word marriage once again. Elwyn was right. She was still considered a princess, insofar as a princess could be useful. A long silence passed between them. Both were conscious, no doubt, of the argument that had transpired between them, an argument they had yet not resolved.
I am sorry.
Elwyn's eyes widened, almost imperceptibly, but Cassidy, staring into the other woman's face as she was, took note.
I should not have burdened you with my circumstances to begin with. But you were only worried for me. I should have been more sensitive in my explanation.
No.
Cassidy was struck by the sight of Elwyn's soft smile as she laughed. The former princess's heart fluttered, and her brother's letter was promptly forgotten.
It is nothing. It would seem that I, too, am quite the fool.
The air thusly cleared. The two women were able to enjoy the rest of their day together. You know, that's quickly becoming one of my favorite things in stories, is two characters who have, like, yelled at each other, got into an argument, who just then apologize, and are just, like, able to handle things in a healthy way, you know? I don't know what it is. It's just, like, characters handling things in a healthy way. I just love to see it, you know? The air thusly cleared. The two women were able to enjoy the rest of their day together. They whiled the time away in companionable satisfaction. That night, Cassidy drifted off to sleep with a full heart.
The strings of love are oft unseen. Though wrapped around you, they may be. When tied fast, none can come between, nor challenge humble fate's decree.
Day 5.
How beautiful it is today.
Indeed.
Elwyn had surprised Cassidy early that morning, arriving at her front door without warning. Though Elwyn didn't even knock, silly creature. I wonder if she would have left if I hadn't seen her and opened the door. I'm trying to guess, like, the vibes I'm getting from Elwyn is that she's lived in the woods, like, her whole life. Like, that's, like, kind of what that, like line is making me think, is that she's always been in the woods, so it shows she doesn't really have, like, a perspective of, like, things like knocking, you know? Like, she just arrives at Cassidy's door and is like, I guess I just need to wait till she notices I'm here. What else am I to do? Sort of thing, you know? The thought bothered her, almost as much as the notion that Elwyn might not yearn for Cassidy's company the way Cassidy did for hers. Okay, to be fair, she did just come to your house and then just stand there, you know? Even if she didn't knock, I think she wants your company. After some time spent lingering, both paralyzed by indecision, they decided to go on a leisurely nature walk. For the next few hours, they strolled through the forest together, stopping here and there to pick berries or mushrooms.
That one is poisonous. Do not touch it.
Thank you for letting me know. I would have picked it and died.
Right.
Cassidy drew her hand back in mortified alarm.
It would not do for your lovely skin to be marred by poisonous spores.
Although we do wear gloves, so I don't know if it actually would have been too bad for us unless we, like, ate it or something. Cassidy hazarded a glance at the other woman's face, but Elwyn looked as unflappable as ever. Poisonous? I'll just ask her how she knows so much.
You know so much about the flora and fauna here. However did you learn it all?
I have lived here many years. In that time, I have witnessed many interesting things. I have learned much, letting the people who pass through educate me. However, it's been a solitary life. I have seen much, but experienced little.
Elwyn.
I have long felt like someone on the outside, looking in on a world I could never touch.
There was a melancholy in Elwyn's countenance that Cassidy had not yet seen, nor even thought the woman capable of. The Elwyn she knew was dignified, taking such charge of her emotions that none ever showed. I had not known her long, of course. Perhaps that was merely how she comports herself. I am learning so many new words while reading this. I love it. Around those little acquaintance.
What made you decide to reach out to me?
Reach out?
That is...
She thought back to their first meeting, the way her own heart had leapt at the sight of Elwyn. Elwyn had known all about her in a prime.
You didn't have to be sitting under the tree that day. You could have continued watching me from afar. But you found me. You spoke to me.
And I'm so glad she did, but I fear she might call me silly if I say such a thing.
I thought you delicately beautiful.
Oh? The matter-of-fact way that Elwyn said this struck Cassidy. She was flattered, of course, yet part of her was also worried. Beauty was not something lasting. It would be a shaky foundation for any relationship. If it had been a courtier complimenting her beauty, Cassidy might have taken it better. But this was Elwyn, a woman of whom she was becoming increasingly fond.
Thought? That's past tense, is it not? What do you think of me now?
Cassidy over here trying to fish for some compliments. Come on.
I still think you exceedingly beautiful. But dainty and delicate you are not. You are far from being the poised princess I took you for.
Cassidy winced and her mouth formed a little pout as she turned her eyes to the ground. As I thought. It is to be expected. Someone so graceful as Elwyn, of course, find me lacking.
You are not what I expected, but I believe that might be for the better.
Slowly, Cassidy tilted her face up, her eyes growing large with disbelief.
For the better?
You are always exceeding my expectations. I wonder if the other people I allowed to come and go would have as well, had I let them so near.
Well,
Hmm?
it may be selfish of me, but I'm truly happy you let the others go. I'm glad that I'm the only person you allowed close. I'm sorry, that makes me sound so ugly.
No. No uglier than I.
Whoa, whoa. Suddenly, in Cassidy's eyes, Elwyn looks so very haggard. Is she, like, actually, like, a part of the forest in some way? Again, that's, like, just what I'm thinking, just, like, looking at, like, her sudden change and, like, the way that the plants even, like, start, like, wilting on her. Interesting. She peered through the polished veneer and saw a woman who was tired and hungry.
Are you alright?
I don't want to sound judgy. I'm just a little suspicious now. What's going on? I'm sorry, Elwyn. I don't... Just a little like, what the freak was that? In a blink, Elwyn appeared to be the same as always.
I am fine.
Even so, Cassidy could not shake the feeling that something was off.
Are you quite sure? You seem tired.
Elwyn was silent for a long while.
Yes.
Oh, if you want to actually make us think that you're fine, you gotta say it a little bit more convincingly.
Perhaps. Perhaps I am tired.
Okay, she realized the same thing. She's like, no. Okay, I gotta backtrack on that one. I am tired.
Forgive me. I am not used to the midday sun.
It occurred to Cassidy that she had never seen Elwyn in the morning before. Could she be something of a night owl? I hadn't supposed it. I think what you just, like, her dress was ripping. I don't think just being a night owl causes your clothes to deteriorate, but I could be wrong on that one. And here I invited her to walk with me underneath the full blaze of the sun. How thoughtless I am.
Elwyn,
Yes?
why don't you stay with me at my cottage tonight?
What?
Well, I am worried about you. And it can't be easy, being a woman and living alone.
She knew this best of all.
I would be much more at ease if you would come with me tonight. Let us break bread together and while away the night in comfort.
She was not expecting Elwyn to accept. Not Elwyn who had reacted so strongly to an invitation merely a few days earlier. And yet...
All right.
Really?
It is really cute how happy she got right there. That was adorable.
Would it be better if I returned to my home?
No, I was just worried that you would not accept. I realize that's not very dainty to be so forward.
At this, Elwyn finally smiled. Cassidy's heart felt akin to an acrobat at the sight, doing backflips and pirouettes in joy.
It would be my honor to accompany you. It may do us both some good.
As ever, Cassidy was far too excited to hear the latter. Looking forward to a night with her new favorite person. Aw, that is an adorable line. Oh my gosh, my heart. She had already changed course and started along the path home. Cassidy closed the front door behind them and went to the kitchen to put away the plants they'd gathered.
Is there anything I can help with?
Oh, leave it to me. Just have a seat and rest. You really do look tired.
All right.
While she put her affairs in order in the kitchen, Cassidy couldn't help but think back to the things Elwyn had said. She said that she likes me the way that I am. That's so kind. She felt a deep sense of warmth and satisfaction, the likes of which she had not felt in a long time. Cassidy returned to the living room a short while later, 2 cups of tea in hand.
Oh!
She found Elwyn asleep, slumped on the divan. Divan. Poor thing, she must have been exhausted. There was a loose strand of hair in front of Elwyn's face. Cassidy reached down and tucked it behind her ear. We're never gonna eat my special crackers, huh? They're gonna go uneaten forever. She looks so innocent when she's asleep. Chuckling to herself, Cassie let Elwyn rest and pass some quiet time reading by the other woman's side. Night soon fell, and the pair supped together. Elwyn doesn't eat very much. No wonder she's so thin. Elwyn, unaware of being... Wait, the crackers, though? Elwyn, unaware of being observed so directly, delicately sipped a glass of water.
Are you full?
I am satisfied.
You eat so little. I'm worried for your health.
No crackers, just water? Dang it, we're never gonna have it happen. Why do we even have them at this point?
I eat enough. I do not like doing anything in excess.
I see.
Her tone left no room for argument. After dinner, Cassidy cleared the plates and things away and began to get the room ready for sleep. The cottage was not large. Her parlor had to double as her bedroom out of necessity. It was all well and good for a single person, but now that another had been added, Cassidy became acutely aware of the lack of space.
There's only one bed.
Oh no, how could this slip my mind? There's only one bed and two of us. Whatever shall we do?
I do not mind sleeping on the divan.
Oh, that's how you pronounce that word. Thank you.
I already did earlier.
Once again, I'm sorry that I didn't wake you up. You just looked so at peace. I could not bear to wake you.
I'm embarrassed to have allowed you to see me in such a state. I only fear... No, it is nothing. I will gladly sleep on the divan or the ground. I am not choosy.
Okay, no, we are not letting you sleep on the ground in here. That is just tile. Even if, like, it wouldn't ruin your back, there's no way we could let you sleep on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, that won't do it all. You're a guest.
See, and Cassidy agrees. One bed. Exactly. I don't see the issue there. There's just one bed. Oh, no. I think they're having the same thoughts. Cassidy gulped. Truth be told, she had one other, much more preferable arrangement in mind. Oh, I just imagined the one bed, like the lowercase one bed going through Elwyn's mind, and then one bed going through Cassidy's mind. That's how I'm imagining it going.
We could share the bed. There's room enough for two.
I notice you do not offer to sleep on the divan.
Oh no, she saw through us immediately. How could we let this happen? Oh no. Hurry, play it cool, play it cool. Struck by her own lack of graciousness, Cassidy bit her lip, cowed into silence.
I am only teasing. If you do not mind being so snug, I will be happy to share the space with you.
And then Cassidy over here like, no, snug is what I wanted.
Nothing would please me more than to be close to you.
Oh my gosh, I just get her so much, you know?
I mean... Yes, wonderful! I shall fetch another pillow then.
She flew out of the room to retrieve a spare pillow from the closet, face burning with embarrassment. Aww.
Do you have enough space? You're not too cramped.
I am fine. Truth be told, I do not mind the proximity.
You say such sweet things in such odd ways. There was a faraway look in Elwyn's eyes.
I've been alone for so long. Until you came.
Yeah. Cassidy crawling over Elwyn. You're not too cramped. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I see like that foot of space that she has between like, you know, the side of the bed and where she's laying. And I'm like, as I'm just like laying all across you, sprawled everywhere. I'm not cramping you, am I? Oh, you know, she's just asking it. She just wants Elwyn to say that she's not cramped, you know?
How did you come to live here in the forest? Where is your family?
Oh. After you said that, now I'm just like, my eyes are just like glued to the top of the bed where there's just like all that space. And I'm like, oh, Cassidy, we can all see through what you're doing. Okay. We've only known her for 5 days. I'm not gonna push her if she's not ready. Like, okay, like, let's say, like, if there's, like, another time that this comes up and we can talk about it later, then I'll push it, you know, once we've had a little bit more time. But I feel like early in a relationship, it's fine if she doesn't put everything out there, like, immediately, you know, about herself. Perhaps she cannot say. Perhaps that she does not wish to tell me, but she cannot. She may have some circumstances that prevent her from speaking on the subject. Was it impertinent of me to bring it up?
I'm sorry. Is it difficult for you to tell me?
It is a trying subject. I'm not quite sure where to begin.
She took a deep
I
breath.
have lived here all my life. Once I was not alone, but
Elwyn paused and sighed.
you remember the wisteria tree?
Of course! That's my favorite place in the entire forest.
I'm kind of scared that she's going to say something like, yeah, my family was turned into the forest and I'm slowly becoming a tree, or something like that. That's where, like, my mind is going with this.
Have you noticed that there are no other wisteria trees around it?
Mhm.
Now that you mention it,
She never had thought about it, but as Cassidy searched her memories, she realized that Elwyn was correct.
you're right. I wonder why that is.
There is an even older wisteria tree deep in the forest. But now those are the only two left, and they are so far from each other. So it is with me.
Cassidy found her choice of words puzzling, but nodded. Girl, same. I like heard her read that sentence, and I was just like, what does that mean? But you know, I'm just gonna keep nodding and going along with it. So it is with me. Again, Elwyn just says such strange things, and then Cassidy's just like, yeah. Again, ellipses into the question marks a perfect reaction for it. Because it's just so true. But again, she's just going with it. Like, she literally is just like, Cassidy found her choice of words puzzling. But nodded. And it's just like, so true, bestie. So
I
true.
once had siblings. They have long since departed. So I don't really have family here anymore.
Okay. Can we go back to the so it is with me part? Because me and Cassidy would love an explanation right now.
Others have come and gone, as I said. But I could not relate to them. I watched them from afar without entering their lives, and did not mourn them when they left mine.
Oh.
And so, the years went by.
I say this with full sincerity, Elwyn. You are so hurt, and I am so sorry.
You'll never be alone again.
Elwyn's eyes widened. Cassidy thought she might start crying, but she only smiled sadly.
I see.
Cassidy snuggled just a little bit closer to the other woman, as if to show meaning through actions where words might fail, as they passed the night together in pleasant company and warm conversation.
When the sunshine blazes down, I soon begin to wish for rain.
Relatable.
But when you've gone away, my dear, I soon long for the sun again.
Day 6. You know, it's very foreboding to have this very cute scene of them, you know, like, cuddling. Elwyn says her strange things, as Elwyn does. And then they, like, pass the night away just, like, snuggling and talking. And then we get hit with this, this poem about when you've gone away, you know? Just a little foreboding. Cassidy awoke alone, with a cold space beside her. Oh, she left. Again, she's gone in the morning. What could she be doing so early?
It's highly suspect.
She could no longer ignore the gnawing feeling of dread. Perhaps she would ask Elwyn upon their next meeting.
Still, what a wonderful night that was.
Each precious memory had been carved into Cassidy's heart. She yawned and slowly pulled herself out of bed. With or without Elwyn, she would have to get on with her day. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to cough your humming. Cassidy hummed a little tune to herself as she cleaned up and prepared breakfast. Sitting down at the table with her bread and morning tea, she glanced at her stationery set, left by the vase. A lot has happened. Perhaps I should write Alexander a letter. Is he, like, worth our time right now? Again, I was, like, so, like, in the middle on this, but then he mentioned that marriage line, and it so pushed me over to, like, Elwyn's side of, like, nah, Alexander's, like, the sus one here, alright? But at the same time, if I don't write him a letter, he might stop sending books. And we can't have that.
It's important that my brother knows what goes on in my life.
Well, okay, I earlier in the stream I mentioned how, like, I hate when people, like, immediately go back on decisions they make in games like these. As soon as she said it's important that my brother knows what goes on in my life, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Because now I'm realizing we're going to probably write about Elwyn, and that might cause him to not react well, you know, if we're supposed to be a secret. Now I'm nervous. After finishing her breakfast, she set herself to the task of writing it to Alexander as usual. Yet her heart was not all in it. Her handwriting was sloppy. Though always lonesome before, the former princess's life now felt so much emptier without Elwyn's presence. Though she should be accustomed to such solitude, she could barely concentrate on her usual chores.
To think that a few days could change a person so.
In a lull in her activities, Cassidy's gaze went to the window. Deep in the forest, her beloved wisteria tree stood. She could see it so clearly in her mind's eye. Now there is part of my brain that is like trying to like meta game this, of like decisions like this one don't seem to have like, I want to say like much like story change. Like what's gonna change if I say Elwyn is like that tree as opposed to like I wonder what she is, like actually change, you know, like the decisions like going forward. Whereas I feel like this is more like a maybe like an ending type of thing, of like the more like your thoughts wane in a certain way or in a different way changes on what ending you get, like changes like how Cassidy feels about things or something like that. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe I'm metagaming too much on that though. I'll say Elwyn is like the tree.
Elwyn is very much like that tree.
Yeah.
She said as much herself. So beautiful and haunting. And alone.
The other woman's words from the night before weighed heavily on Cassidy. She passed the rest of the day peacefully, but with a sense of unease. The next day came and still no Elwyn. Cassidy was left with nothing but her own thoughts, and thinking of Elwyn perturbed Cassidy greatly. In the last several days, the wind had embedded... I just realized that the next day happened and we didn't get a poem about it. That just like, it felt like a slap to the face as soon as I realized, like, oh, something feels wrong about the fact that a day just went by and we didn't get a poem. And thinking of Elwyn perturbed Cassidy greatly. In the last several days, the woman had embedded herself into Cassidy's life like a thorn.
I never expected to become close to another person again.
She thought about Elwyn and the things the other woman had said. The hours spent that were so few but felt an impossible eternity.
I never did ask her about her feet. Why are her toes always curled?
You know, I was thinking that you might be a little weird for asking someone about their feet, but after, like, everything with Elwyn, I think you might be onto something.
Despite how she looks, she must be much older than me. She has a proper way of speaking, and always says she's lived in the forest a long time. And with the intricacy of her clothing, and her manners.
Something did not quite add up. Elwyn did not seem to like people much. Certainly it did not seem her presence in the wood, despite how long it had been, was known to many. Well, I mean, you live here secretly and it works out fine for you, so I feel like she could do like the same thing. Alexander most probably would not have sent me here if it was known that a beautiful woman was living alone in this very wood. Where did Elwyn come from? Why was she alone? She still had no satisfactory answer. thinking it all over. Okay. Elwyn is strange is very true. But Elwyn is unearthly. I feel like it's kind of saying the same thing, but in a more romantic way, I guess. I think I'm gonna go with strange, just because it feels more natural to me. She is rather strange. Then again, there's nothing normal about my situation either. Exactly, there's nothing wrong with being strange. It's just, you know, she is. This only means that I have more things to discover about her in the future. Cassidy shook her head. Even if Elwyn was a tad strange, Cassidy knew that there was more to her than that.
She
Wasn't
is
there?
capable of joking, though she does not do it often. Her smile is so precious. She can be blunt, perhaps, but I believe she means well. I care deeply for her. And she...
Remembering the last several days. I'm going between these two. I'm definitely not leaning towards Elwyn is truly monstrous or towards just the ellipses. I'll say that Elwyn cares for me. I'm also going to do another save here. It just makes it easier to like go back to like 100% things after like a second run, you know what I mean? I'll say Elwyn cares for me. Oh, hello. Presently there was a knock at the door, startling Cassidy out of her deep thoughts. It was a short knock, a signal for a letter not accompanying a box.
A letter? So soon after the last? I did send him a letter yesterday, but it is not possible for him to have read it and replied already, right? Perhaps my brother finally understands just how much I miss him.
Oh, I feel like this letter isn't going to go good. If I leave here, if one day Alexander allows me to leave, what else awaits me?
Is a political marriage truly my only means of escape?
Oh. If I can be useful to the kingdom in any way, is that better? Will my life no longer be considered a waste? But like, bro, I like don't trust you. You know what I mean? I'll just think, how long must I stay here? How long must I stay here in the forest? Will I forever be here, atoning for my mistakes? Which of there are none? She didn't do anything wrong, and she knows it. She let out a long sigh. Her thoughts had taken her to a not-so-merry chase.
If I dwell on these thoughts, there will be no end to them.
She brewed herself a cup of tea to calm her nerves and began reading a new book. From time to time, her eyes went somewhat nervously to the window. And so, evening fell. Cassidy took a sip of her tea and then sighed.
I've been dwelling on this all afternoon.
Even so, she could not lie to herself about the source of her concern.
I haven't seen Elwyn in nearly 2 days. Such a short time, but it weighs heavily on me.
I was gonna say, like, spending like one day apart, you know, that's like normal. That can be healthy, you know. But 2 days apart when you're like the only two people here, that can be a little worrisome, you know, and you could get very lonely very fast. She looked out the window to the forest. Perhaps Elwyn was somewhere out there. Just as Cassidy was about to act on impulse and seek the other woman out at last, the front door to the cottage slammed open.
I apologize if I have caused you alarm, but I have urgent news.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Elwyn, are you okay? Oh. Okay, I think those are like her veins are like turning black. I couldn't tell if like she was like cracked or... Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm laughing, not because it's funny, but because I'm nervous. The vague notion that Cassie had been supposing about Elwyn's true nature paled in comparison to the real thing. Here was either a monster or a demon, of that Cassidy was certain. Yet despite the fact that such a realization should inspire nothing but fear and disgust, Cassidy felt neither. Elwyn, are you okay? I think she may have seen a better day or two in her time. This does not look good, and I am more convinced that she is turning into a tree. So I would say she's not okay. She should have had some special crack. Oh my gosh, I know. If she would just have some of our crackers, she'd be fine. That's what the crackers are there for. Oh my gosh. It's sort of like a Snickers bar, you know? You're not you if you're hungry. For more importantly, the woman standing before her now was undoubtedly Elowen.
What news have you?
What? What do you mean by that? What? Okay, I understand it. I understand it to a degree. Cassidy is like, you know, she's a princess. She's used to handling things like Cassidy, Zen, head full of rocks. That is so true. The fact that she doesn't see the current state of Elowen and isn't freaking out, she sees Elowen come in covered with all these thorns. Her veins are like protruding and turning black. She has like all these vines wrapped around her. She has like a tree growing around her leg and her arm. And her hair is just turning into something. And then Cassidy's just like, what news have you? What's up, homie? And it's just like, what are you talking about? Also, her eyes did change, so I would like to say I was kind of onto something, even if I was wrong in the moment. Her voice did not quiver.
There is a large army approaching. I believe they have made camp for the night near here. And I fear they mean you harm.
An army? What color were their banners?
Red and gold.
Looks at... Oh, hey, a software update just popped up for me. Remind me later, please. I also just realized let me check on the YouTube live stream really quick. Okay, it's going good. I just want to make sure it's still going because I was like, I haven't checked on it in a little while. I should do that really quick. Okay. But yeah, no, just look at Cassidy's outfit really quick and just tell me if you think that belongs to her, you know?
So they must be from Veromir. Do not worry. My people would never hurt me.
But Elowen shook
I
her head.
overheard them talking. They certainly mean to do something terrible.
Elowen looked sincere. She was truly worried. But even so, could it truly be? What reason would the army have to be here?
I know that you are loath to trust in a monster such as I.
No.
No?
I'm sorry. That isn't it.
And there we have it. Would a true monster ever refer to themselves as one? Cassie decided in her heart then and there that Elowen was to be trusted. You know what? Good on you. I respect that decision so much. Elowen came here just to warn you and is like, listen, I get it. I know how I look. I know how this looks. I just want you to be okay. They are going to hurt you. And then Cassidy sees all that she's doing and is like, yeah, I believe her. Even so, there's a contradiction here that bothered her.
I believe you.
But she doesn't believe that she's right, is what she's going to say.
Truly. Even though I look like this?
Yes, I trust you, even so. However, the situation bothers me. I believe you, but I can't believe that the army of my own kingdom would wish me ill. For if they are here, it must surely be because my brother, the king, sent them.
Well, they don't really wish you ill, they just wish you dead, you know? There's a difference.
And for Alexander to betray me, I simply cannot believe it.
In her heart, he was always her beloved
Your
brother.
brother is the one who put you here. Do not forget.
Yeah, but it was for, like, my own good and stuff. I keep putting my water ball on the floor, and I don't know why, because it makes me have to reach over so far to get it. How could she have forgotten such an important fact? Cassidy hardly knew. No, I didn't forget. I simply grew accustomed to this life.
You said that they are camped nearby?
Yes.
Can you take me to them?
That is quite possibly the worst idea you could have had. What do you mean? No! Like, just try to overhear them. Elowen was able to do it. Just ask her if there's any way you could do that. Listen. Elwyn is convinced that they are here to kill you because she heard them talking about it. Going to talk to them is not gonna like make that go away or not happen, I feel. Elwyn nodded grimly.
I understand. Perhaps that will allow you to come to terms with everything. Even so, I do not relish the pain that doing so will inflict upon you.
I am ready.
Cassidy said, clenching her fists. Oh, this is gonna go poorly. The two women made their way through the forest. Not long ago, they wandered here together. Those had been such carefree days, feeling far more distant in the past than they had right to. Once this matter is dealt with, we will have those innocent days back once more. Declaring so in her heart, Cassidy followed closely behind Elwyn. Soon they reached the camp. Cassidy and Elwyn hid behind the trees and the bushes as they approached, careful not to make their presence known. There were at least 24 soldiers camped there.
Is this really such a good idea? It doesn't matter if it's a good idea. Orders are orders.
I love that one's voice. Whichever one of these three has just said that, I love their
But
voice.
still,
The soldiers were talking amongst themselves when a tall figure emerged from a tent. Is it her brother? Cassie would recognize the person anywhere. In her shock and anger, she gripped Elwyn's arm tightly. Thank you, Scion. Is that the name of the person who played the soldier? Elwyn turned to look at her.
Your brother.
She mouthed the words. Cassidy nodded.
I understand that it may not seem chivalric to some of you. Worry not. I shall be the one to dispatch my sister. It is my duty.
Oh, I'm so glad we did the thing that I was saying of like just coming here to overhear them. And then he just came out and was like, yes, we will kill my sister tonight. I will be the one to do it. And it's just like, oh, well, thank you for making this easy. Although I'd rather you just not be here to kill us.
And make no mistake, this is for the good of the kingdom. It will silence the opposition amongst the barons and eliminate our kingdom's one exploitable witness. It may be difficult, but it is the right thing to do.
Alexander spoke the words in a calm, cool tone. Yep, Scion was also a director for Hot. Oh, really? So he was the director for it, and he also voiced in this game. That's pretty cool. He also had my favorite voice in the game so far. I loved his voice. Alexander spoke the words in a calm, cool tone. Dispatch, eliminate. They were such harsh words that they stuck in Cassidy's mind. So Alexander came himself, and not to visit, not for my benefit, not even to help me. He came to. Cassidy was overcome by a feeling she had never felt in her life. Rage. It was an indignant rage, an all-consuming, angry sort of despair. Once she had loved him, this was her twin brother, one whom she'd entered the world with. She would have given him anything, except her life. As Cassidy gripped tighter onto Elwyn's arm, the other woman began to change. Her appearance softened, became more and more human. Whatever essence was tainting her seemed to be draining away. And instead that same, as if like going into Cassidy, and instead that same essence...
So, this was also an option.
Elwyn muttered to herself so softly that the exiled princess did not hear. Then she spoke louder.
Cassidy,
Yes?
shall I help you wreak your vengeance?
Can you?
Yes, but you must stay with me. Damned as we may become.
I would gladly walk through the flames of hell at your side. Revenge or no.
It was all Elwyn needed to hear, a declaration of love in its own right. She allowed her essence to flow freely and now into Cassidy. The pair together began to change form, growing more monstrous, more powerful. The soldiers did not stand a chance against their combined might.
Do you
Oh.
wish to kill him yourself, dear heart? It is, perhaps, your duty.
On the other side of them lie mounds of corpses. but in front lay the greatest prize, King Alexander himself.
No. It's all right, Elowen.
Alexander, in his terror, could not utter a single sound.
I am better than him. Go. Never come here again. As of today, you no longer have a sister, and I no longer have a brother.
Dog, no, kill him. You can't kill the soldiers and then leave the main man alive. That's not fair. Put him down. Is that wrong of me to say? And so the king returned, broken and stumbling to his kingdom. He would never forget, though none believed him. Even on his deathbed, he continued babbling of beautiful demons. As for wait, whoa. Is that like the narrator going into the future, or is this like a huge time skip about to happen? As for Cassidy and Elowen. Oh,
Goodness.
whoa.
I have no idea how your hair gets so tangled.
Cassidy looks sick. All the flower. That was the ending. Oh, that was so cool. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. And this is the epilogue? Oh, that's exciting. Oh my gosh. That's because I was like saying that I feel like this feels so endy. Is this the ending? So like hearing that it is the ending, checks out. Oh my gosh, but they look so cool. Especially, again, like especially Cassie, like the flowers in her hair, so cool. Wait. So if this is the epilogue, is this like that little bonus thing at the bottom, or is this just like normal epilogue in the game? I want to make sure before I go clicking on it. You know what I mean? Because like, if this is like that bonus thing down like the bottom corner, like the starting screen, normal epilogue. Okay, normal epilogue. Cool. So that means we still have more, and that is exciting. Oh, I can't get over how cool they look right now. I'm still a little bummed that Alexander got to live, though. Granted, he did probably live a terrible life afterwards of, again, no one believing him having witnessed all this, seeing Cassidy and Elowen turn into, like, these new forms, like, slaughter them all. They left him with trauma. Exactly. He didn't get to walk away, like, scot-free. He walked away very traumatized. And again, no one believed him for the rest of his life. So, you know, he did get what he deserved, you know? So I'll take it. Because I was like, you know, I was trying to be a little wary of him, but maybe he wasn't like such a bad person. But just waltzing in here and be like, hey guys, I'm just gonna kill my sister. Glad we're all on the same page about that. I'm like, okay, so he's just a bad dude. Let's get rid of him or do something bad, you know? Anyways.
It is the wind, my love.
Is that so? We shall have to teach it a lesson.
Demons though we may be, I do not believe we can do anything to the wind.
Not with that attitude, dear one.
I was literally about to say the exact same thing. Not the dear one part, I was just gonna say like not with that attitude. Decades passed, yet the two of them remained unchanged. It was a freedom, a power that Cassidy had never known. Every day there was more to discover, more delights to find. Most of all, the pair enjoyed learning more about each other.
Cassidy,
What is it?
to you,
I love you.
how do you know I was asking that? Perhaps I was about to ask what you wish to do tomorrow.
You most certainly were not. It's all right. I'll tell you as many times as you'd like.
Cassidy is really feeling the power right now, and you know, I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's now free. You know, Elowen settled into a peaceful happiness, leaning against her beloved. She was utterly secure of Cassidy's feelings, but she never tired of hearing about them. And even now, without a doubt, these two are still there, living happily ever after.
United in love, sharing their hate. These demons live on, laughing at fate.
Together, we are eternal. End. Obtained. Okay, I was literally about to ask, like, if there were, like, multiple endings. Oh, that's... I'm guessing that this is... In the back, I'm guessing that this is Alexander. Okay, so now... Grats on getting a good... Okay. I'm glad that that's one of the good ends. Because, like... You know, usually people usually get the bad ends immediately, so I'm glad I could get one of the good ones. And I was about to say, like, oh, there's, like, probably just like so many endings to get there. But I should ask, since you're here, Alexander does show up in one ending. Okay, that's good, because I assumed that this was him after like we got into the story. I was like, who's this like random third person in the back? He's got to show up eventually. But is it recommended that I get all of the endings before I go into the bonus story, or should I go into the bonus story now and then worry about the other ends later? Because like, if it's good to go into the bonus story now, then we'd probably do that. The ending is actually pretty tricky to get for me. Really? I rec you get all the endings first. Okay, then that's what we'll do. Because the CGs are... Oh, the CGs are on that bonus button. Okay, that makes sense. I would not want to get spoiled on that. Okay, then, here, let's just go ahead and load back in. I'm really glad, like, it's a little crop, but a slight spoiler. Okay, just a little crop, but it's a slight spoiler. Yeah. You know, I'm fine with a slight spoiler. That's fine. As long as, if it's not a major spoiler, then I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? But like, let's just go ahead and like load back in. Should we just like go back to the beginning and then do it from there? Because like, also that is really good to know. Because like so many games will be like, oh, here's like choices. And then, you know, you pick choices throughout the whole time. You're worrying like, oh, when are like these choices going to actually like matter, yada, yada, you know? And then they just never do. So the fact that there are actually like multiple endings is so cool, and I love it. So like, let's just go ahead and reload back into here. Although we should probably end stream there. I just looked up at the time and I was like, oh, I do have work in the morning, so maybe you should end stream there. That's probably for the best.
Hardly a
Oh wait, hang
stone's
on.
throw
I wanted
from where
to
we now
go
stand.
back to the title screen. Title. There we go. Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point too. Getting an ending, I think, is a pretty great starting point. Maybe that's something that we could just like do for each of these Women Wednesdays that we're doing, is just like getting a new ending in this. You'll be able to skip through most of the game next time. Oh, that's so true. It will just like skip through like the stuff that we've already like read before. That's a good point. So, like, even like next Wednesday, we could probably go through and get like a couple of endings. I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited. This was like, okay, this was so good. And like, how do I put it? It felt like so snappy. It's like one of those things, like something that I really appreciate about like all like the visual novels I've been reading recently is like they don't really like waste your time. They're just like, here's like our story and we're going to tell it like the most natural pace. So like there's never a moment in there that I felt like it was wasting. So it just kind of like happened and went by, and it was very satisfying by the end. Like when that came up with being like the ending, I was thinking they're like, oh, it's like ending now. But it feels so natural to be ending now. You know what I mean? And in like such like a quick time of like under 2 hours, like of like Cassidy and Elowen's relationships, and like how quickly it actually like developed, and how good like their interactions were. Like the chemistry between them was so good. Most of this game was written in 2 months, if I remember. Seriously? In only 2 months? That's kind of crazy though. Like with how good it's written, and like how many seeds there are like for like everything. Like there's nothing that really feels like it comes out of nowhere. Everything feels so set up, and like especially like with like Alexander, like there are so many seeds planted in sort of like both directions. Like Cassie's like thoughts about him, planned of him like being good, but then you like when you're reading his letters, like things planning him like on being like kind of a bad dude. You know, it was for a game jam. That's awesome. The fact that like someone like the fact that they were able to like write this in 2 months for a game jam, that's insane. Although like the game jam grind is real. Like I'm following like who is it? There's a couple of people I'm following on Twitter who also wrote visual novels for like a game jam that I also want to get to reading. I'm just blanking what they are. I think one was like, was it the Cinderella one that did that? I don't remember. Regardless, that's awesome. And again, just so impressive. Again, it's just the quality of the reading. Like the characters like had so much like depth to them. Like it was like crazy that this could be. I feel like I'm stumbling over my words, but that's just because like I'm so impressed right now. You know what I mean? And like everything it got about the presentation, like we already talked about like the music. Like the music was just so good, and like it was one of those things of like every single time like a new song would start, I'd be like, oh, this is so good. And there was never a moment where I was like, oh, this just doesn't fit this scene at all. There's never a moment like that. And then like again, the voice acting was so good. Like the fact that Cassidy was voiced by the same actress who plays Juliet, and both sound so natural, and there was so much emotion in both performances for both characters with again completely different voices. That's insane. And I also like all of like the everything like done by Elowen, like everything she said. Shara Kirby is she is incredible. I was like when she was having like the kind of breakdown scene when like they first got into like their fight, I was sitting there like, oh my gosh, this feels so genuine right now. This sort of like breakdown, trying to hold it together moment she's having, like that felt so genuine. And then the voice actress, you said it earlier, let me scroll back up to her name. I think wait. Wait, where is it? Oh, I wanted to say Elowen's voice actress's name. Natalie for Elowen. Thank you so much. Like she did such a great job of just portraying, like it's kind of like how Cassie put it, like this unearthly woman, like who feels so detached and mysterious, but also so like personable and like still has like emotion to her. Like, that's such a weird way to describe it, but like she did a great job like portraying like the elegance of her, like the otherworldly nature of her, while also like making her feel very human at the same time. And I'm like, I have no idea how you voice that. I have no idea how, like, as a voice director, do you even get someone to like do that at all. So like it's just impressive on like all fronts. So like I am so excited to get into like seeing the rest of the endings. I'm especially excited to like see a bad one, you know, especially after like if that was like one of the good ones. I'm like, how dark do the bad endings get, you know? Because by the time like we got done with that ending, I was like, okay, that was like dark, but like it wasn't as dark as I was expecting. Addie, the he just, it simultaneously makes me more nervous but also way more excited. Oh, I'm looking forward to it so much, because again, like that ending was like dark and what happened to like the soldiers and everything, but with like the caution page at the beginning, I was like, this isn't so dark. There's the reason I call this the Cannibalism Yuri game. Oh my gosh, I had somehow blanked out the cannibalism part. As soon as you said that, my mind just flashed to some tweets from you of like being like, oh yeah, the Cannibalism Yuri game. And like, I think I saw like someone else calling it that too. And I was like, oh yeah, there is cannibalism at some point in here. I wonder who does that. Oh, so I am very excited, especially since again, like we can kind of like skip through all the stuff that we've done and just get the ending. So that's gonna be a fun time. But yeah, with that all being said, I think that's a great place to stop stream for today. Thank you so much to everyone who came out and to like being a part of this. This was like such a fun day for me of like actually like being like this, like my first stream as part of like the stream ambassador for Studio Lawn, and I'm so excited to be here, so excited to like keep streaming more of these games because they're so good, and I'm just so excited to be like a part of like the team basically. Thanks for playing, thanks for being here, Addie. It was so awesome to see you here. That was awesome. And I hope that you have a great rest of your night, and I hope you have like a great rest of your time at, it's called like OffCon, right? I want to say, yeah, Offkai. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I hope you have a great rest of your time at Offkai. Things seem to be going really well there. So with all that being said, I will see all you beautiful people in the next one. Bye-bye. Offkai, I'll be there in spirit. Oh. All right, with that one being said, bye-bye.